train. A Dutch MEP, Morita Sharka, says scenes from the crash site have been deeply troubling.
I find it hard to understand how people can find peace of mind after seeing tampering with the site of the downing of the plane. It is actually appalling that this has happened, and I believe that there is a very deep mix of grief and anger in the Netherlands that will last for a very long time.
Taxi drivers in Luton say they're not defending themselves against verbal or racial abuse for fear of losing their livelihoods. It comes after a cabbie had his windows smashed in with a hammer during a racially motivated attack on Sunday. This taxi driver says the council more often sides with customers than drivers in disputes.
The licensing don't give us enough protection and don't give us enough information to tell us how to protect ourselves. And that's the biggest problem. The main fear that anybody or any taxi driver, I don't know if they'll say this to you or not, is the fear of losing their badge if they defend themselves. And every taxi driver here has probably got that fear.
The Italian cruise ship, the Costa Concordia, will be towed to its home port of Genoa today for scrapping. The vessel capsized after crashing into a reef, killing 32 people. Alan Johnston reports.
The ship, which is longer and heavier than the Titanic was, is being kept afloat by huge buoyancy chambers attached to her hull. And in this delicate condition should be towed very slowly, at walking pace. The wreck will be surrounded by an armada of 14 tugs, pollution control craft and other vessels.
In sport, striker Paul Benson has signed a 2-year contract with Luton after being released by Swindon Town. Benson, who spent last season on loan at Kenilworth Road, scored 18 goals in 38 games. The weather will be cloudy at first, but staying dry with plenty of sunshine. Top temperatures around 28 degrees Celsius. That's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.
Cat's knocking off early!
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It's a good, mixed town. There's lots of things going on.
It's all about where you live.
Everybody's so nice and friendly. That's what I like about it.
And all this week we're featuring Stotfold and Henlow.
It's a very friendly, gentle place to live.
We've only been here for a few years and been made to feel really welcome.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wagwan. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. On today's show, rows, and more rows. Row 1. 2 councils go head-to-head on housing. Row 2. Taxi drivers say they're fed up of rowing with racists. And row 3. Aylesbury residents say a roundabout is dangerous, but the council doesn't think it's dangerous enough. It's all kicking off on the show this morning, guys. If you want to give us a call, then you can do 08459 455 555. I don't know why I give the phone number out at this junction in the morning, because there's no one has the cojones to call in at 4 minutes past 6 on a morning.
I'm ready.
Sorry?
I'm ready.
Well, I was hoping you were ready about 35 minutes ago when you turned up for work.
I'm ready for this phone call, then.
Oh, OK, right. Well, let's... OK, right, hang on a second. Let's just do this.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
OK. Let's just wait for a phone call.
OK.
08459 455 555. Who's got the cojones to call us at 4 minutes past 6? I dare you.
What's a cojona?
It's a Spanish ball.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry?
Have you given them a reason to call?
They also call them huevos.
Huevos.
Eggs.
Where are my
Who has
huevos?
the eggs to phone us?
Who's got the huevos? Where's my huevos? I want to have a huevos, please.
But do they have a reason to call?
Yeah, I've dared them.
I see what you've done.
Oh, that was a good one.
You've got no huevos today, callers.
Whoa! Someone's got huevos! I don't know what to say to them!
Ask them how their eggs are.
Oh, who am I speaking to?
Oh. I bet it's Jeffrey from Bracknell.
All right, where are you calling from, Kev?
Kev?
Kev? I don't know a Kev.
Well, you're about to.
Kev?
Kev, can I put you straight through?
Kev has got huevos.
Down the line. Kev and his balls are on fader 1.
Kev?
Yes, good morning, Iain.
How are your eggs?
My eggs are brilliant, and I've got the bottles as well. You tweeted me. I was a bottler the other day.
Oh, hang on a minute. Why did I tweet you?
Because I live in Northampton, out in the country, where some places we don't have mobile phone signals.
Oh. But hang on, but I wouldn't have tweeted you for that, would I?
Yes, we did. We were having a conversation on, what's it? You went through my Twitter account as well.
Oh, you were probably rude about me. What did you say that was rude?
What was I rude about?
I don't remember. I'm struggling to remember the conversation. Why would I have gone... I would have only have gone through your Twitter account if I suspected that you'd been rude about me.
No, because you were busy following someone else, and you were saying about who was following you.
What?
Yeah, you were talking about who was following you on Twitter.
Right.
And I said, I'm following you on Twitter, and you got well excited.
Did I?
Yeah, jumped into my Twitter account, and you said, you're very political.
Yes.
Oh!
Political Kev.
Oh, it's political Kev! Kev, I apologise for... Look at me. This is the problem with the 21st century, Kev.
Please,
always on the defensive.
Don't apologise to me. You're going to upset everyone.
No, I've accused you of being a bully, sir, when you're nothing but a gentleman.
What, about 6 o'clock in the morning?
Me?
More like a Muppet at this time in the morning.
So hang on a minute, you're listening in Northampton.
Yes.
Do we broadcast in Northampton, Paul? Is that part of our remit? They have their own station,
Borders,
They have their own station.
Maybe the Borders, though.
With the border. Don't you have BBC Radio Northamptonshire?
Yes, we do, but we also have, JVS.
Yes.
Yes, he comes in and waddles over here, and
waddles?
You pinch a bit of our Bernie Keith as well.
Yep, we pinch a bit of Bernie Keith. He loves it, to be honest. He's a bit of a tart in that respect. Well, you had the cojones to call in, and I appreciate it. Next time, maybe call in when we have something we can talk about.
Well, we could talk about something that you spoke about yesterday about Nicky Campbell. I mean, he was ready at 6:04, but you was still getting together at 6:04.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, I missed the first 3 minutes of your show.
You just pwned me. You just pwned me, Kev. But I appreciate that, and you've kept me on my toes. Thank you for calling in.
No problem.
There we go.
Only get better.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There we go. Someone who had the... What is it? The
Huevos. Huevos.
The mulos to call me.
Mulos?
The mulos to...
I don't know what you're talking.
You got the mulos to call me up and out 6:05 in the morning.
Sí, tenían los huevos para llamarte.
Stop that now. Excellent stuff indeed. 08459 455 555. Been handed a strange font, but we'll proceed anyway. Now, BBC Three Counties Radio has uncovered a bitter row over housing between Luton and Central Bedfordshire councils. Luton has launched a legal challenge against plans for thousands of homes to the north of Houghton Regis, arguing it's the wrong kind of housing. Well, political reporter Paul Scoynes has more on this. Paul, what's going on?
Well, Iain, it's well known, we've done lots on this programme before, that Luton has a chronic housing shortage.
Oh, yes.
And the problem is for Luton is it's a very small area with a very small boundary, but it needs to build lots more houses. And the council tell me that they can only manage around another 6,000 in the town, but it needs 18,000 for Luton alone. And then, the additional area outside of Luton probably needs 30,000 too. So a huge undertaking in order to sort of meet those numbers. So on the face of it, it should probably welcome nearly 6,000, 5,500 homes on its doorstep, right?
I would have thought so.
Wrong. The Luton Borough Council has confirmed to me it is in the early stages of a judicial review, so a legal challenge to the High Court in order to stop plans for this large development. It says it's nowhere near enough homes for them and not the right type of housing. And I suppose, Iain, it does re-underline, if you like, the strained relationship between those two councils.
OK, so what are the plans then?
Well, there's over 5,000 homes, plus a large amount of retail space and retail distribution space, so warehouses basically, to the north of Houghton Regis, up to this A5 M1 link road, which is going to run just over the top of Houghton Regis to the M1. The plans actually date back to around 2012, but they seem to have dropped. They were around in the original plan somewhere like 7,500. They've now gone down to about 5,500. Luton says its allocation, so the number of affordable homes it would have control over, has dropped from about 17% to around 5%.
So what are the objections then?
Well, the sources in Luton tell me that they think that the plans haven't been properly put through, and they object to the redrawing of the green belt boundary. They say that they don't know enough about about the background papers that haven't been given them. They say there's too much retail in the proposals when they say that the original plans that would allow any development on the green belt were basically just to help Luton's overspill. And they also say, and this is probably the key point here really, that Central Bedfordshire has failed in its duty to cooperate, because it's a neighbouring council, has a duty, if you like, to try and work with the other councils in this matter, and that means that Luton loses out.
Any officials saying anything about this?
Well, we've had a statement from Luton saying that the matter is now before the court and it can't say anything. Central Beds tell us much the same as well. I understand that Central Beds is challenging some of the points, and it will now go to a judge to decide whether or not that's a case that proceeds with. There is a bit of a long story, and I'll sum it up very quickly if I can. This is an area which was going to be developed for a long time, and the story originally went back to Bushwood, which was the planning application just to the north of the area, which then sort of came out. The plans originally went haywire after the government strategy for the whole area went after the election. It completely was thrown, and the two went their separate ways basically. And then I think that's when the bad blood started between the two councils.
It's very complicated, and you're right. There is a lot of tension between these two councils, and it's interesting that this is kind of bringing it to the surface again. On the face of it, if a council can't build any more homes, then I guess it stands to reason it has to look outside of its boundaries, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't a problem limited to Luton, and this is a problem that happens everywhere. You've got small little towns which then have a sort of a restricted area which it can grow. In planning circles, I was told yesterday, it's known as the Stevenage problem, because it actually happens in there as well, where they've got a small area neighboured by sort of lots of rural land, which then they can't build on because the restriction of a boundary is not really fit for purpose according to the council. So they're limited to what they can do, and it's after the sort of as I say, the changes to the rules in the after the coalition came into power, it meant that this sort of local strategy meant that almost councils went back to the drawing board. But we've been asking residents in Luton to see whether or not they think that the town should be allowed to build outside the borders, and these answers perhaps won't surprise you.
Yeah, I think it should be allowed if there's good enough reasons not to build on the land. If it's green belt, I don't know, then you have to find alternatives. But generally, if the land's there and it can be built on and it needs to be built on, then you've got to do it.
I think it is an issue of looking at balances. So maybe not. You should maybe not build on all of the land, but on some parts, because there clearly is a need for people to live somewhere.
Well, it depends on the piece of land and it depends on the use, but I think there is a national housing crisis that everyone has to acknowledge, and the reality is we need more homes.
So this affects real people, and this isn't just... it's interesting, the political row between the two councils, and I find that fascinating, but it's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been in Luton yesterday trying to find some people who are on a housing waiting list. If there's so many people waiting, you'd expect it wouldn't take too long to find someone, and our reporter, Sophie Saleria, did just that. Zoe McDonald and her partner have a 1-year-old daughter, and they've been on the housing list since September, and they're desperate to move into a bigger place.
We moved here just over 12 months ago. We privately rent. I've been on the council waiting list since 2011. Even got to the stage of bidding on houses and being considered for them. And we've just received a letter now telling us that we're no longer eligible for a property. Well, we can't afford to pay private rent. It's over £200 a month more than council rent. We're struggling each week just to make ends meet, and I don't know what we're going to do. The owner of the house has recently passed away, so the house we currently rent may be getting sold, and to move anywhere else I need over £1,000 deposit, which I just haven't got.
Have the council told you why you're not eligible?
They've just said to me that it's because my husband works full-time. They think we should be able to afford to rent privately. He's a roof tiler.
You can't afford to live in Kempston otherwise?
No, it's hard enough finding 4-bed properties, and the rent on them, you're lucky if you get anything below £900.
And you say that you're in your overdraft every month to try and pay already?
Every week, yeah. We use all our overdraft every week, so that when my husband then gets paid on a Friday, we've hardly got anything left, so then it's back on the overdraft again.
What are you going to do, Karen?
I have no idea at all. I haven't got the money for a deposit to move anywhere else. I have no idea what to do.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 Luton Spur has major roadworks in both directions between Junction 10A, the Kidney Wood roundabout, and the M1 Junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road. It's also going to be affecting Airport Way in both directions from the Kidney Wood roundabout and Capability Green Business Park. The M40 in both directions has one lane closed to a bridge maintenance work at Junction 5 for Stokenchurch, and the A1 has major roadworks at the Black Cat roundabout to increase the size of the roundabout and add traffic lights to some junctions. And in Beaconsfield, the A40 London Road has resurfacing work in both directions between Park Lane and Windsor End. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Chris. Right, it's 6:17. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council has launched a legal challenge against plans to build thousands of homes north of Houghton Regis because they say they're not affordable. A national day of mourning is being held in the Netherlands today as victims are returned from the plane crash in Ukraine. And taxi drivers in Luton say they're not defending themselves against verbal or racial abuse for fear of losing their livelihoods. The weather today, cloudy at first, but later sunny and hot in air.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, I'm not normally one to talk about myself, but on Friday night I might make an exception.
And the station, I think, when I launched it, I knew that it was going to sound pretty good.
Well, I'm allowed this time. I'm celebrating 50 years of broadcasting.
Caroline South, Tony Blackburn here with you. Tune to Radio Caroline on 199.
Wonderful Big L. The happy sound of Radio 1.
Join me and relive some of my 50 years. It's not just me waffling on about me. I'll have some great music too.
He's a 24/7 broadcaster and he will go on forever.
50 years of me, Friday night from 7, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Number 1.
Hang on a minute. Whoa. Is this the... Whoa. Hang on a minute. Whoa. Is this the Phil Collins version of this? What? No, whoa. Oi, Baldy!
Do you want the other version?
I want the proper version of it. Why would anyone play that version when there's a proper version of it?
Okay, it's there if you want to press stop.
Thank you very... Oh, that's better. Thank you.
I need love to ease my mind. I need to find someone to call mine. When Mama said you can't hurry love, no, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love, no, you just have to wait. You gotta trust, give it time, no matter how long it takes, but how many
That's the proper version, Justin. You're right. Is someone holding you prisoner?
Hey, boss.
Oh, I thought you'd been tied up and gowned and bagged.
No, that will be good fun. But I have a question for you.
Hello, fella.
Shall I put this out there?
Yeah, go.
What was the first Motown #1 on the UK charts?
Doom, doom, doom.
Come on.
Doom, 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 doom. Ooh, I'm Marvin Gaye's. I heard it through the grapevine before I was shot by my dad.
Harsh.
No, I've done a documentary and a song.
Yeah, fact, not fiction, I suppose.
That's what it is.
Yes.
I'm learning from you. The first Motown song to be a British number one.
The first Motown #1 on the UK charts.
Well,
what was it?
It wasn't a Supreme song.
Wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
The Supremes weren't that big over here.
Wasn't it?
Was it a Supreme song? So now are you still being gowned and bagged?
Maybe.
So was it a Supreme song?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So it was a Supreme song.
Yes.
All right. That narrows it down a little bit. Okay.
Come on.
All right. I'm just thinking. Was it "You Can't Hurry Love" by the Supremes?
No. But I believe Phil Collins, his version was a US #1. I believe.
I believe you, brother. Was it no? Wasn't the Postman one? Wasn't the Supremes?
No. That was the Marvelettes, I believe, or the Velvelettes, one of the two.
He's giving us a little break.
Yeah, come on.
What is it? It's a 22 past brain teaser.
Come on, big man.
Oh, was it Baby Love?
Yes.
Kelly Betts.
1963. Well done.
Strong clap this morning, Catherine. I noticed that earlier. Well done, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right, just for same time tomorrow.
Yeah, please.
Thanks very much indeed. Oh, hang on. No, we should do what we've got you here for, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Rather serious story. Luton taxi drivers say they fear the fear of losing their livelihood is making them too afraid to defend themselves if they're being racially or physically abused. Comes after a taxi driver had his windows smashed with a hammer during a racially motivated attack on Hitchin Road on Sunday. Well, Justin, you've been speaking to cabbies in the town and asking if they feel safe. I guess being in a car while someone's smashing the windows with a hammer... Pretty scary, huh?
Yeah, very scary. The taxi drivers in Luton not happy at all. I'm with them this morning. Here's what one of them had to say about working in the town. As a taxi driver in Luton, do you feel safe?
Well, as a taxi driver in Luton, the authorities, local authorities, if they know, backing us up, we're not feeling safe, especially over the weekends when the drivers from our trade, they get... window smacked and, the people, they're abusing them. How we feel safe then?
So the police aren't doing anything to help you at all?
The police, if we call police, this is what happened to me. I was at the station and the 6 guys came into my cab. They wasn't willing to pay my fare. And they smacked one of the window and I called the police and police turned up in half an hour time. And after that, they couldn't chase those six boys. If you look at the CCTV, I got this, report in my cab as well, the incident, the reference number.
Yeah.
And the time that happened to me, after that I received, the letter saying, oh, we couldn't do anything because we couldn't find them on CCTV. So if something happens at the station, and if they can't chase those people, they can't find them, where they're from and what their face like. Everywhere, if you go at the station, central station, there are CCTVs. So if they can't find somebody at the station, how we as a taxi drivers, we are safe without the station where there are no CCTV.
Yeah, absolutely. Just lastly, the attack at the weekend, we believe, was racially motivated. Doing your job, and that's all you're doing. You're doing your job. Do you often hear racist comments towards you?
Especially when over the weekend, when people are drunk, they don't want to pay their fare. They say a lot of things, which we have brought this to attention of police as well. So, we haven't seen any kind of action that, the police have done such as thing that people has stopped these kind of things, So,
what sort of names are people calling you, if you don't mind me asking?
Racially abuse. If I belong to Pakistan, they will call you. If you belong to some other place, they will call whatever the organ you are from. But, we urge people, that we are helping them, we're taking them home safely. And as being a human being, the service we provide them, because at night time, nobody's there to take them home. And if they should cooperate with us as well as as a trade, as a whole trade, we helping them and we giving them service.
There can be no excuse for anybody to talk to you like that. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Doesn't sound fun, does it, Just?
Doesn't at all. And of course, this attack at the weekend, you would think talking to taxi drivers, that will be a complete one-off. But every time we talk to taxi drivers in Luton, sadly, they've all got a similar story. Not just people racially abusing them, but people smashing up their taxis as well. This is happening all the time here in Luton.
Justin, thank you very much. We'll speak to you a bit later on. 08459 455 555.
Oh, I have got another girl, making me say that I've got nobody but you. But as from today, well, I've got somebody that's new. I ain't no fool and I don't take what I don't want, for I have got another girl. She's sweeter than all the girls, and I met quite a few. Nobody in all the world can do what she can do. And so I'm telling you, this time you better stop, for I have got another girl who will love me till the end. Through thick and thin, she will always be my friend. I don't want to say that I've been unhappy with you, but as from today, well, I've seen somebody that's new. I ain't no fool and I don't take what I don't want, for I have got another girl who will love me till the end. Through thick and thin, she will always be my friend. I don't want to say that I've been unhappy with you, but as from today, well, I've seen somebody that's new. I ain't no fool and I don't take what I don't want, for I have got another girl.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's very slow on the North Orbital Road at the moment at the M25 Junction 21A roundabout. The M1 Luton Spur has major roadworks in both directions between Junction 10A for Kidneywood roundabout and the M1 Junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road. It's going to affect you if you're travelling to Luton Airport or Luton Town Centre. The M40 in both directions has one lane closed for bridge maintenance work at Junction 5 for Stoken Church, and the A1 has major roadworks at the Black Cat roundabout. That's to increase the size of the roundabout and to add some traffic lights to some junctions. And in Beaconsfield, the A40 London Road has resurfacing work in both directions between Park Lane and Windsor End. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: Luton Borough Council has launched a legal challenge against plans to build thousands of homes north of Houghton Regis. It says Central Bedfordshire Council is building homes that aren't affordable when there's a dire lack of housing in the town. A national day of mourning is being held in the Netherlands today as bodies are returned from the plane crash in Ukraine. American intelligence officials say that so far there's no evidence of direct Russian involvement in the shooting down of flight MH17. And taxi drivers in Luton say they're not defending themselves against verbal or racial abuse for fear of losing their livelihoods. It comes after a cabbie had his windows smashed in with a hammer during a racially motivated attack on Sunday. The weather will be cloudy at first but staying dry with plenty of sunshine. Top temperatures around 28 degrees Celsius, that's 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The Commonwealth Games begin in Glasgow today. Previewing the opening ceremony, here's James Shaw.
The ceremony at Celtic Park will feature Rod Stewart, Susan Boyle and the violinist Nicola Benedetti, as well as ordinary Scots supporting a fundraising appeal by the United Nations Children's Agency UNICEF. A giant TV screen, the biggest in Europe, will be Glasgow's link to the Commonwealth.
On to football, and striker Paul Benson has signed a 2-year contract with Luton Town after being released by Swindon. Benson spent last season on loan at Kenilworth Road, scoring 18 goals in 38 games. Meanwhile, manager John Still has given Steve McNulty a new contract, and the Hatters' friendly against Histon has been cancelled because Histon's pitch wasn't ready for the fixture. Wycombe came from 2-0 down to draw with Chesham at the Meadow last night. MK Dons beat League 2 Dagenham and Redbridge by 1-0. There was some concern for captain Dean Lewington, who was taken off with a knee injury. He's due to celebrate his testimonial against Nottingham Forest on Sunday. And Stevenage beat Tunbridge Angels 3-1 in their latest pre-season friendly. Manchester City's under-21s have walked off during a friendly in Croatia after one of their players was allegedly racially abused by an opponent. The game against HNK Rijeka was abandoned after the incident involving City's French midfielder Seko Fofana. The Queen's Horse Estimate has tested positive for morphine. Initial findings suggest the problem lies in contaminated feed. Former jockey Luke Harkey says the feed manufacturers may have a case to answer.
You take a feed, you feed a feed, passes all the strict tests. And then if then your horse fails, you've got to look at the feed company. But it's a very grey area at the moment.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 7 o'clock.
Where you going, Kath? Where you going? We're doing the paper review. Oh, blimey, she's gone.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
What have you done?
I didn't say anything.
You ran out of that studio.
I didn't say anything. All I did, we are mates, right? All I did was ask her to look at a spot I had. Do my belt up, hang on. And she ran out.
Yeah. Maybe stop asking people to look at that.
Would you look at it for me?
No.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? Jamaica, off the Florida Keys. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical drink melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go to the Kokomo? We can play fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Martinique, that Montserrat mystique. We'll put out to sea, and we'll perfect our chemistry. By and by we'll defy a little bit of gravity. Afternoon delight, cocktails and moonlit nights. That dreamy look in your eye, give me a tropical contact high. Way down in Kokomo, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We can play fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go.
Just let go of the cob. Drop
I've
the
not
cob.
really got a cob. I've not really got a cob.
You're sitting on one leg. That means you've got a cob on. You're in the cob position.
What are you?
You've assumed the cob.
All right, Sigmund Freud. Can you stop analysing me now, please?
Right, you've just called me Sigmund Freud. That's total.
Aggressive.
Sigmund Freud is obviously a representation of your father, who I'm guessing you've probably got issues with, and you're putting that on me.
Got any beef with my dad?
I'm not your dad. Sigmund Freud is.
Why are you bringing my dad into this?
Exactly. Oh man, this is awkwado. Anyway, you nipped off. You came back.
Yeah, because
for
today...
this story, it better be worth it, guys.
Because in today's times, they've got all the goods.
Today's
frankly.
times, what we done living. Okay, so let's have the story that you ran upstairs for.
It's about a fella called Mr. Rainsford, David Rainsford.
Already, it's good. All right, Rainsy, if you're listening, Davey.
He's only got one eye, right? He's got two, but one's glass.
Oh.
He doesn't think he should have to pay full price for his Specsavers eye exams. Because it's discriminatory, according to Mr. Rainsford, who's an operations manager from Cramlington, Northumberland. I know we all wanted to know what he did for a living. You cannot get a disease in a glass eye. I have to look after the eye I have left. It's a very personal thing to me and important for the health of my eye that I have it checked properly.
Yeah, of course it
Doesn't
is.
need the glass one looked at, he says, so you shouldn't have to pay for it.
I totally agree. How much does he want off?
Half.
Oh, well, I'm going to say no to that. I'd say 25% off would be adequate, wouldn't it? Because you don't go in and you're not paying. Let's assume it's £10. You're not paying £5 for one eye, £5 for the other. Go on, what have you got?
Do you want to know what happened? He's now 44 and he lived in Manchester in the 1990s.
Uh-oh.
He's not had his eye since he was 14 when he got shot in the eye with an air gun.
Right, when the humour in that is...
No,
Oh.
He was given a discount by his optician in Manchester and he wants the same now.
I think he's entitled to a discount. I don't think he's entitled to 50% off. I think 08459 455 555. What's this gentleman's name?
Mr. Rainsford, David Rainsford.
How much should Mr. Rainsford get off for his eye test? He's got one glass eye. Brian, the Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, his dad was nuts, Murray Wilson, and he had a glass eye, and to punish the boys, he would take out his glass eye and open the socket and make them stare into it. Wowzers.
4 years ago, a Barnsley man was arrested for stealing a shoe from Sports Direct. Phil Moore, whose left leg was amputated after septicemia, argued that he was being ripped off by retailers because they'd only sell him a pair of shoes. To be honest, I think he was chancing it. If he had real beef, he should have taken it to the powers that be, shouldn't he? Rather than nicking from Sports Direct. So that one trainer cost him £65 and £100 costs.
Dear me. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. We're having a little bit of fun with disability this morning.
We're not.
No, we're not. We're not.
Just shows that, disabled people can be chancers too.
Oh, well, yes, it certainly can't. Hey, guess what I found out that Britain sells to Russia this morning?
Arms?
Yeah. Guess what? Specifically, what kinds of arms?
Explosive ones?
Yeah, rocket launchers that can bring down aeroplanes.
Oh.
Now, there's no saying at the moment that... But just let's just extrapolate and go into a fantasy world where the Malaysian airliner was shot down by a British-made rocket launcher, which is a possibility. It's not definite. There's a long way to go. But wouldn't that look bad on us? Wouldn't that be flipping off? We're selling arms to Russia. Some of it's ending up with the Ukrainian rebels, potentially. We're also selling sniper rifles to the Ukrainian authorities.
But didn't we sell arms to Iraq before?
Yeah.
They were using our own weapons
But the bald fella who got the boot, what's his name? Haig, I think in 2012... No, in March of this year, came out and said, well, we must stop selling... That's not bad. I've never done that before. Well, we must stop... Oh, it's Brian Walden. Well, we must stop selling arms to Russia while this conflict is taking place.
That was chilling.
That's not bad, actually, is it? Brian Haig and William Walden. Do you want to hear a really good song?
Always.
OK. Do you know Matthew Sweet?
I'm not aware of his work, no.
You are now.
'cause you need to get back in the arms of a good friend. And I need to get back in the arms of a girlfriend. I didn't know nobody, and then I saw you coming my way. I didn't know nobody, and then I saw you coming my way. Don't you need to get back in the arms of a good friend? Oh, 'cause honey, believe me, she'll love to call you my girlfriend. Don't you need to get back in the arms of a good friend? Oh, 'cause honey, believe me, she'll love to call you my girlfriend. 'Cause you got a good thing going, baby. You only need somebody to love. Well, you got a good thing going. You're only looking for someone to love. 'Cause you need to get back in the arms of a good friend.
As you know, I deal in fact and not fiction. Boom, 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 boom. Get some brains, get some copper.
Gonna set you free. No, I'm never gonna set you free.
Oh? Lads in a garage.
Oh. Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's very slow on the North Orbital Road at the M25 Junction 21A roundabout, and the M25 is building up anti-clockwise between Junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. There are queues on the A1 southbound around Stirling Corner, and a little further down around Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus, and in Beaconsfield the A40 London Road has resurfacing work in both directions between Park Lane and Windsor End. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Chris. 6:46 or thereabouts. It's the what day is it, Kath?
23rd.
What day?
Wednesday.
Thank you. Of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council is taking legal action against plans to build thousands of homes near Houghton Regis because they say they're not affordable. A national day of mourning is being held in the Netherlands today as bodies are returned from the plane crash in Ukraine. And taxi drivers in Luton are accusing the council of not supporting them when they face verbal or racial abuse from passengers. Let's get the weather, shall we? Here's Kate.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. We've got a fine, dry and bright start across much of the three counties this morning. There is a little bit of cloud just sneaking its way into Luton, but anywhere south of that seems to be fairly free of cloud, and even that cloud is going to melt away fairly quickly, similar to yesterday's scenario. Temperature outside at the moment between 14 and 16 Celsius. By the end of the afternoon, when we're bathed in sunshine, we could be getting up to a maximum of 28 Celsius. That's 82 degrees in Fahrenheit. There's a little bit more of a breeze today. It's an easterly, northeasterly, just bringing a little bit of relief this afternoon. It's a really nice evening. Sunshine is going to be warm as well. Sunset's just after 9, and then when it does, we're going to get some clear spells at first. Perhaps a little bit of a cloud moving in as we head through the night, but not too much. The minimum temperature 15 Celsius. That's the rural spots. It is going to be warmer in the built-up areas. Quite uncomfortable for some, around 17 or 18. So for tomorrow morning, a similar start. Dry, sunshine, bit of low cloud at first, but the maximum temperature again getting up to around 28 Celsius. So another warm afternoon for Thursday. And that's your forecast.
Glasgow, 2014. 71 nations and territories.
There's nobody that I'd fear from any of those countries.
17 sports.
It is without doubt going to be the biggest race of my life.
1 Commonwealth.
We do watch our rivals. We really try to expose that in every game that we play.
And they call this the friendly games.
I have no rivals. Everyone should be fearing me.
The pleasantries start today.
Gold in Glasgow, bring it on.
The Commonwealth Games across the BBC.
No, thank you. So, I got into a little bit of argy-bargy with a rough common thug.
Oh, I saw this.
Last night.
What happened?
A thug. So I went into the tiny Tesco. The car park is compacto. There was no space-o.
Why are you speaking Italian?
I had to you can understand it though, can't you?
Yeah,
I'm just learning it. I'm just learning it.
I'm getting every other word.
I had to reverso out of the place.
Okay, don't do the accent.
I had to reverso out of the place.
Yes.
And this thug, shaven hair-headed, tattooed, piercings, common as anything, was blocking the exit with his vehicle.
Oh. Why was he doing that?
Because he was...
Waiting for someone, or...
No. He wanted to come in.
Oh, right, I see.
A little bib. Second little bib. And I can hear this effing and jeffing. It's all this swearing, all this, Jeff.
All right, I get the effing and jeffing. Who was bibbing? You?
Little tiny bib.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir, would you mind moving?
Polite bib.
Effing, jeffing, you, B, all of that.
Yeah. P? Oh.
So we're there for a few minutes.
Rude.
We're there for a few minutes.
While he finished his sentence?
Yes. And so then I had to kind of go forward a bit, and then I had to manoeuvre. And he was, as I'm driving by, it's an empty show to turn your steering. You've got plenty of room. We could fit a bus through there. You could not fit a bus through there.
Yeah, but you didn't try, so you don't know.
I don't know for sure. I'm guesstimating. It's a cross between a guess and an estimate.
Yeah.
And he's swearing at me, and I said, "Hey, what's your language, fella?" Then I went and parked my vehicle, and I was a little bit shaky.
You parked again? Why didn't you just go home?
Well, no, I needed to get some shopping. I needed to get some supper and some milk.
Oh, right.
Parked it and went back in there, and he was in the shop. He's in the shop. He's in the queue.
No.
In the queue, and I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm the people's poet. I'm not having this. I went up to him in the queue.
You started on him again.
I said, "Oi, excuse me, mate. What's your language?" "Oh, I'm not in the mood for this. Get the F away. Get the F away."
Right.
I said, "Hey, fella, there are kids here. Just watch your language. Get the F away. I'm not in the mood. Stop starting." I said, "There are kids. We're in Tesco. Respect."
Reminding him of where he is.
He was in the self-service queue of Tesco. It doesn't get much lower than that. And I walked away.
Yeah, but he didn't need to talk to anyone at that point. You could have just let it lie.
No, he had
upset you.
He had abused me. Yeah. This is the thing, right? This is the problem with this flipping country.
Don't you start swearing.
You can't speak to people like that and get away with it. Okay. Someone has to stop it.
Okay, and you're the man to do it, right?
And I said very calmly, "Just watch your language." And also, that was the thing. When he was swearing at me outside, there were kids outside.
Right. Okay, you missed that bit out.
All right, there was a young lad.
Fine. Now you're defending children.
I was defending Chester. You can't swear in front of kids. So I tweeted this, thinking,
right,
I'm going to get loads of support. I did get loads of support. I also got some people saying, what's the problem with swearing? Why? Because if we don't swear in front of children, they'll never learn the words, and then we'll have peace all around the world.
No.
People were having a go at me for stepping in and defending the ears of babes.
The way I think about swearing, and I do a lot of thinking about swearing.
And also, you do a lot of swearing because your language this morning was inappropriate upstairs.
But you know that I swear when in inappropriate situations, whereas there are some people who can't stop themselves because they haven't learned that lesson. My mum and dad did not teach me not to swear by making me eat soap, which did happen once.
Any ideas where this is going?
Wait. What they taught me was don't swear in front of your mum.
Oh.
Okay?
So
that's the lesson. Yeah, know when and where.
So if I've got this right, are you saying you're on this bald, horrible, dirty, common man side?
He hadn't learned that lesson, knowing where to swear.
He was a thug.
Tesco's is not the place.
Tesco's, nor in the ear space of children.
No.
Is not the place.
So there's two rules.
Horrible, dirty man.
Anyway, I'm glad you...
I bought like a tomato and mozzarella pasta bake.
Did that taste bitter, though, after that encounter?
No, it's nice, actually.
Did it?
The sun is puntastic today. It's Britain's puntastic sun. So get this, Kels. George Harrison, according to the NME, the
bass player.
The bass player from the Beatles.
Yeah.
According to the NME.
Yeah.
The New Musical Express. He had a tree planted in his memory when he died in America. It's been eaten. Bye. Go on. He was in the Beatles. He's been eaten by bugs. Beatles. What's eating it? Beatles. Yeah, Beatles. Hey Jude is the headline. Beatle Harrison tree eaten by Beatles. They've then done some Beatles pun songs.
Okay.
I mean, effectively, the story's just an excuse to do this, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the Bite album. Right. But some of these don't make sense. Some are good. Eleanor Twigby.
Yeah.
All You Need Is Bugs.
Yeah.
From Tree to You.
Yeah.
Roll Over Barkhoven.
No. I'm not accepting that one.
And I Love Fur.
OK.
We Can Wipe It Out.
No.
A Hard Day's Bite.
OK.
That's a good one.
Do You Want to Gnaw a Secret?
Nice.
Pesteday. And here's one I don't get. Got to Get You Into My Leaf.
That's rubbish.
It's not even a pun, it's just like it's swapped words. I'm going to do a better one off the top of my head. I'm going to do a brilliant one.
Oh, I've got one.
Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Farts Club Band.
What's that got to do with Beatles eating things?
It's got to be connected to this, is it?
Yeah.
OK, sorry, I didn't pick up on that. I'm so sorry, I didn't pick up on that. Kelly's got one.
Tree said.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's a good one. Good Day Bumshine.
OK, in the Times, page 6.
You're a 6-year-old in a grown man's body.
I mean, 6 is mature.
I was on the phone to my friend, right? Yesterday. That's a good one.
We should do that. Let's replace song titles with bum.
I was on the phone to my friend Iain yesterday. Right?
Other Iain.
And the kids are at an age where they find it hilarious if there's someone else who's got the same name. Like my eldest, if there's someone with the same name as him, it just blows his mind. So I was on the phone, and they came downstairs. It was bedtime, but they came downstairs completely naked because they wanted some milk. And I said, boys, I'm on the...
Well, not to be naked for milk.
That's what we do in the house. And I said, boys, I can't talk. I'm on the phone. You'll never guess who I'm on the phone to. They said, who? I said, I'm on the phone to someone called Iain. They thought that's hilarious, right? And then they started going, Iain! And then they got bored of that and they started going, Weird! And then they just dropped it and changed it to Willie. So that was where Good Day Bumshine comes from.
It's inspired by the children.
Still the funniest thing I've ever said in my life. Catherine.
Page 17 of the Times.
Oh, we're going up market.
Yeah. The Times has got it all for me today.
Yeah.
It had that story about the Specsavers.
Yeah.
Now it's got this.
Yeah.
The French have fallen out of favour among Europeans seeking an international date.
Oh, is that because they're selling warships to the Russians?
No, I think just don't fancy him anymore.
Oh.
If there's one thing a Frenchman has been able to rely on over the years, it's been his reputation as a lover.
You love a Frenchman,
No, I don't.
don't you?
I don't really like Frenchmen. I prefer a Latin type. Or did when I was single. A survey asked more than 50,000 men or women across 7 European countries which nationality they would choose for a romantic night out.
Yeah.
The results for the French are chastening. They finished joint 4th behind British men in 3rd. Back of the queue, Francois.
Yeah.
Who do European men... I love how simple men are.
Sorry?
Right. European women, who do they prefer? They've done like a little flow chart. Look.
Yeah.
You know, it's an even spread.
Okay.
Who do the European men prefer? Look.
Beyonce.
Spain.
Oh, I guess it all goes straight to Spain, doesn't it?
British women prefer Italians, apparently.
Oh, dearie me.
Lots of Italians in Bedford, if you're looking.
Yellow Bummarine.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's delays on the M25 between junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40. Also heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 20 for Kings Langley. And there are queues on the A1 southbound at Stirling Corner and further down between Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. Right, if you want to give us a call this morning, it's an open door policy on this show. You should know that by now. We're talking about stuff. But if you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. Oh, there are some tips in the Daily Mail on how to sleep in the heat. One of them is turn a fan on. Turn a fan on!
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: row over housing in Bedfordshire. EasyJet suspend flights to Israel, and taxi drivers in Luton in fear of being attacked.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a row over housing between Luton and Central Bedfordshire councils. Luton has launched a legal challenge against plans for thousands of homes north of Houghton Regis, arguing they're not affordable. Our political reporter Paul Scoynes has the details.
The plans by Conservative-controlled Central Beds are for over 5,000 homes near to the A5-M1 link road, which is being built. But Labour-run Luton says they're the wrong kind of houses and is set to apply for a judicial review into the plans. It highlights the extent of the already strained relationship between the two councils. If this gets to the High Court, it's not yet clear when that will be.
American intelligence officials say that so far there's no evidence of direct Russian involvement in the shooting down of flight MH17. A national day of mourning is being held in the Netherlands today as bodies are returned from Ukraine. Dutch MEP Marita Schaake says scenes from the crash site have been deeply troubling.
I find it hard to understand how people can find peace of mind after seeing tampering with the site of the downing of the plane. It is actually appalling that this has happened, and I believe that there is a very deep mix of grief and anger in the Netherlands that will last for a very long time.
EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel. The Luton-based airline says it will review its decision on a day-by-day basis. Taxi drivers in Luton say they're not defending themselves against verbal or racial abuse for fear of losing their livelihoods. It comes after a cabbie had his windows smashed in with a hammer during a racially motivated attack on Sunday. This taxi driver says the council more often sides with customers than drivers in disputes.
The licensing don't give us enough protection and don't give us enough information to tell us how to protect ourselves. And that's the biggest problem. The main fear that anybody or any taxi driver, I don't know if they'll say this to you or not, is the fear of losing their badge if they defend themselves. And every taxi driver here has probably got that fear.
People in Aylesbury are warning that someone could be killed if improvements aren't made to a busy roundabout. They say too many collisions are happening opposite Devereux Place on the A41. Wilma Cordell has had her car written off.
We feel that accidents are going to continue to happen along this stretch of road. And if we don't do anything about it, sadly, we feel that there could be a fatality one of these days. We don't want that at all.
In sport, striker Paul Benson has signed a 2-year contract with Luton Town after being released by Swindon. Benson, who spent last season on loan at Kenilworth Road, scored 18 goals in 38 games. And the weather will be cloudy at first, but staying dry with plenty of sunshine. Top temperatures around 28 degrees Celsius, that's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It has really good people with a great community spirit.
And all this week we're featuring Stotfold and Henlow.
I love living here because I've always lived here.
It's all about where you live.
You've got countryside just across the way, but all the facilities you need. You don't need to leave the village.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's 4 minutes past 7, and boy oh boy, there's a real buzz in the air. Kelly Betts and I just saw some drunk men staggering outside BBC Three Counties Radio. Well, wanting to get their attention, I was banging furiously on the window. Well, they didn't hear us, but someone did. It was Jonathan Vernon Smith. And he's there out in the car park looking around, going, well, where's that banging from? Kelly and I suddenly became 14-year-old children, and we hid. We were really scared that we were going to get told off. So we're hiding behind the window while Jonathan's walking around going, where on earth is that terrible banging coming from? Fun times, guys. Fun times. Being told they could hear the banging within the building itself. That's how loud Kelly and I were banging this morning. Right, on today's show, rows, rows and more rows. Row 1, 2 councils go head-to-head on housing. Row 2, taxi drivers say they're fed up rowing with racists. And row 3, Aylesbury residents say a roundabout is dangerous, but the council doesn't think it's dangerous enough. It's all kicking off.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chris Martin was right when he called you that. Just been told by political reporter Paul Scoynes. Just tell the listener what you told me.
I just made Tony Blackburn a tea.
Uwe matwe. Where's my tea? Okay, here's something. I had my first ever pork pie yesterday. It was given to me by Mike Reed. Beat that, guys! Relax, don't do it. Oh, when you wanna go do it, relax. You're banned. Pork pie. He then came in, here's the irony of the whole relax saga, 30-odd years later, he then walked into a studio I was in and went, ginger beer. Now, he was offering me a can of ginger beer.
Oh, right.
I don't like this stuff, but I had the pork pie. First pork pie last night.
What do you reckon?
Nice. There was no jelly in it, which is good. But it was delicious.
Some people like the jelly.
Nah, cats and perverts like the jelly. I don't like the jelly. But I do like the Mike Reed, and I liked him even more when he gave me a pork pie.
Did you go, pork pie?
Why would I have done that?
That from the Desmonds.
I never watched Desmond's. I did watch the spin-off, Pork Pie's Millions, where he won the lottery.
Yeah, there you are. Topical.
Very topical, very topical. Have you ever made a beverage or received a delicious pie from a former Radio 1 DJ?
No, but I've had a pint with Noddy Holder.
That doesn't count. Doesn't count. The question was very, very specific,
quite
man.
Specific, yeah.
Very, very specific question.
He's been in Radio 1, though. He's been on Radio 1 and Radio 2.
No, mate. It was a very...
And he's a DJ now,
It's a very specific question. Have you made beverage or had pie with former Radio 1 DJ, not member of Slade?
I have, actually. I probably had a beverage from DLT.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, BBC Three Counties has uncovered a bitter row over housing between Luton and Central Bedfordshire councils. Luton has launched a legal challenge against plans for thousands of homes to the north of Houghton Regis, arguing it's the wrong kind of housing. Well, political reporter Paul Scoynes has been looking into this. What's going on?
Iain, it's no secret that Luton has a problem with its housing. It's running out of space, and it's only a small area, and the council say it can only build another 6,000 homes. The thing is, it says it needs probably upwards of 40,000 homes,
Gosh.
so it's going to have to build over the borders, absolutely. So you would think, actually, that the idea of 5,500 houses on its border would probably be a good thing.
Yep.
But they have told me, the council's told me, that it's in the early stages of applying for a judicial review into the plans for this large development. It says that the sort of housing there isn't right. It's not the right type of homes. It's not enough homes for them. And I suppose, if nothing else, it goes to highlight the really quite bitter, strained relationship between the two councils.
So what are the plans then? What's being proposed?
Well, this is the area just to the north of Houghton Regis, butting up to the A5 M1 link road. It's around 5,000 houses, slightly more, I think, plus a fair degree of retail space and warehousing as well. And these plans date back to around... Well, I mean, you can argue they go back even further than 2012, but this plan, as it looks like at the moment, goes back to 2012. They have reduced the number of homes that were in the mix from about 7,000 to 5,500, and Luton says its allocation, so the amount of affordable homes it would have control in placing which residents go in there, has also dropped from 17% to 5%.
What are their objections?
Well, I've seen the proposals for the judicial review. It's an exclusive, and they tell me that the plans haven't been thought through properly. They object to the redrawing of the green belt boundary. They say that the council haven't looked at Central Beds Council haven't looked at alternative sites. They also say there's far too much retail in this proposal. And I think, and this goes perhaps to the heart of the matter, that actually Luton says that Central Beds just hasn't cooperated on its duty to sort of provide housing for other areas, a duty to cooperate. Now, Central Beds will say, well, actually, there was a plan, there was a joint plan together. Luton actually pulled out of that joint plan after the coalition came to power, and I think that some people within Central Beds would say, well, we bent over backwards for Luton. So there is, I think, just an element of sour grapes in.
Is anyone from Luton or Central Beds commenting on this?
No, they're all saying nothing because of the legal battle at the moment. I understand that Central Beds is challenging some of the points. And now the process is it will go to a judge to decide whether or not this goes to the High Court. And, of course, if it does, they've already spent a few £1,000s on barristers to get this far. That will be a very costly battle. What I understand is that they're going to try and do it in a convention where the costs are split, so it won't go into huge amounts of money. It'll be sort of almost encouraged to keep it low. But if indeed the judge decides it's a goer, then it's a trip to the High Court for me, and we will see whether or not those challenges are allowed.
On the face of it, if a council can't build any more homes, I guess it has no option but to look outside of its area.
Yeah, this is a common problem for a lot of urban areas which border onto the Green Belt, and Luton's no exception. There's apparently a convention in planning called the Stevenage problem, and it affects the town just to the east of Milton Keynes. Of Luton, well, it's east of Milton Keynes as well, I suppose. But the Stevenage has a similar problem. Has a problem with North Herts and other councils around it. And up until 2010, there were bodies which pretty much imposed on a local area where they would build their houses, and local councils didn't really like that. They felt like they were being told what to do, so the government changed the plans and said, right, you can decide locally. Of course, it would hope at that point that the councils would work together, but these borders, these local area boundaries, if you like, according to Luton anyway, aren't fit for purpose. We did ask a few residents, though, in Luton to see whether or not they would welcome building outside of the boundaries, and you won't be surprised at what they said.
I believe that it should be open just to the people that live in Luton itself. Each county has their own borough, and each county should deal with their borough. Obviously, we moved here from Newcastle 20-odd years ago, where I had to live for 10 years privately before the council would even entertain us, and that was with a disabled daughter as well. And I'm trying to get my daughter moved from, she's disabled, severely disabled, who's just had a baby. I'm trying to get her moved closer to where I live, because she does need a lot of support. The council are just not entertaining it. I've just come out of the council, actually, putting in an appeal letter. I think now, because there's no housing here, I think now we're going to have to go privately, which is, disgusting for a single parent who is disabled.
I think that the housing should be for people from Luton only, because if people just keep coming in from other places and taking all the houses and stuff, then, there's nowhere for people from Luton to live.
Do you have a council property?
I do, but I live with my dad.
And are you from Luton originally?
I am, yeah.
So are you finding it hard to get out of your home with your dad and into your own place?
Yeah, I am, because obviously my dad's got a 3-bedroom house and I've just had a baby. Because there's 2 of us and my dad, there's 3 bedrooms, so they won't give me anywhere. So I'm stuck living with my dad with a baby.
Well, yeah, as we've heard there, this isn't just a political row. This affects real people, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That was Zoe McDonald, and her partner has a 1-year-old daughter, the both of them, and they've been on the housing list in Luton since September. And of course, they're desperate to move in a bigger house. I suppose what it shows, if nothing else, is that it is a spicy political battle between 2 councils. Yeah. But actually, this is affecting real people. You have to have some sympathy for all parties, really. Luton clearly needs more housing. It doesn't have space to do it, and no matter where it was able to build, and the other council might say, we've got plenty of brownfield space, that takes years to convert, and is very expensive. And actually, the council told me even if they did all that, they still wouldn't get much beyond that 6,000 number. So they really do need to go into other areas. So I suspect this might just be a little bit of posturing, and they might get to the point where they withdraw this review if they can work together. I get the sense that behind the scenes, if you were to perhaps take the politicians out of this, Iain, a deal would probably get done much more quickly.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. While you're here, it's very hot at the moment, and I don't just mean the chemistry between us.
Yeah.
The weather. How are you sleeping at night?
In fits.
You're fitting in your sleep?
No, I'm probably not, no. Fitfully? Is that right?
Frightfully fit? I would say so.
Thanks.
Well, the Mail has got some tips on how to sleep in the heat.
Oh, yeah.
Can't sleep in the heat, put your sheets in the fridge. Now, that sounds awesome.
That's an old trick, yeah. I've heard put your sheets in the freezer before bedtime.
Now, that actually sounds brilliant.
Who's got space for sheets in their freezer?
Well, the sheet folds up.
Yeah, but, I mean, if it's anything like my freezer... Yeah,
our freezer's empty. We've just got some frozen pastry in there.
Well, you could maybe roll that out and put that underneath, yeah.
Here's the best tip. Use a fan. A fan can help reduce your body temperature surprisingly quickly. Professor Jim Horn...
I know Jim.
...says direct the fan towards your face because your cheeks have the ability to release a lot of heat from your body.
Wow, really?
However, don't place the fan too near, otherwise you could get neuralgia, a nerve pain in your face.
Do you, when you're hot, do that trick of running your wrists under the water, under cold water?
No, I don't do that trick.
OK, that's a good old trick. Straight to the veins.
2 other tips. Use the spare room.
What?
Use the spare room.
Why is that any colder?
I don't know. Or try, now I like the sound of this, a chillo. Any ideas what a chillo is?
No.
Well, it's a chilled pillow. They've compacted the 2 words to make one, chillo.
Does that also involve putting stuff in the fridge?
Yes, but Dr. Stanley, who tested one, says, I found it a bit too cold. So it may not be for everyone's...
you can alter the temperature on your fridge as well, if it's...
You certainly can. Paul, great bants. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Iain. Yeah.
Do you want a shake or high five? How are we feeling today?
I'll high five you.
Thank you very much, mate.
We move.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's delays on the M25 between junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40. Also heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 20 for Kings Langley. Heavy on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And there's queues on the A1 southbound at Stirling Corner and further down between Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. The M1 Luton Spur has major roadworks in both directions between junction 10A for Kidneywood roundabout and the M1 junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road. So that's going to affect you if you're travelling to Luton Airport today or Luton Town Centre. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chris, thank you very much. 7:17. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council is taking legal action against plans to build thousands of homes near Houghton Regis because they say they're not affordable. EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel. And taxi drivers in Luton are accusing the council of not supporting them when they face verbal or racial abuse from passengers. The weather today, cloudy at first, but it's going to get hot again. Hot!
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday morning from 9.
Good morning, welcome to the JVS show.
Your local stories.
Have you had to rebuild your life after being a victim of crime? Do you think it's inhumane to keep people in prison for life? Do you think that immigration needs to stop?
Your local life.
Why do 70% of this country feel immigration is wrong?
We've actually got an open doors policy.
I am just so angry listening to some of them people.
What the government are doing, they'll start introducing American-type sentencing, like 200 years in prison.
The JVS show.
British people are not xenophobic.
Weekday mornings from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Give us a call. The way this show works, you can call in about any of the stories that we're talking about, of course. Or if you just want to call in for a chat, or maybe you think there's something that we have missed that we should be addressing, you can give us a call at any time. I'll be honest, our standards are pretty low. Pretty low. If you call up, the odds are you'll stand a darn good chance of getting on. So 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you always wanted to call a radio station. And let's be having you. Who hasn't wanted to do that? Then now's your chance. Catherine, we've got some texters.
Yes, we have.
Do you want to read them for us?
I'll go on then.
Yeah, I'll go on.
I saw you on 8 out of 10 Cats on Dave last night. It was filmed in 2005.
It was filmed. It depends which one it was. If I was on the team of Sean Locke, it was filmed on the day of the July the 7th bombs. Oh. There was no audience there. I was called in because Richard Madeley and Jonathan Ross had pulled out. It was one of the most miserable nights of my life. Not because of the tragedy that had taken place in London, but because one of those idiots I was working with was a bully.
Rachel in Kempston enjoyed it.
Good for you, Rachel. I'm glad you did. I hated every moment of it.
Jim says, thanks for stopping the Phil Collins version of You Can't Hurry Off. The original version, so much better. Well done.
Yes,
Pat on the back from Cheers, Jim.
Thank you, Cheers, Jim.
And
Thank
Iain,
you, Kelly.
And here's a long one, so sit back. You might want your coffee there. What is a conspiracy theory once it's proven? You don't have to answer. It's a rhetorical question. Some time ago, I mentioned to you that the busway connecting Luton to Dunstable is about what is coming in the future and not so much for what is there now. I said that Luton Borough Council wanted to build houses in Houghton Regis. Do you remember?
No.
No.
Oh.
He answered that. He remembered. He knew you'd say that, you see, because he knows stuff. You said I love a conspiracy theory, and here we have the first one on the busway.
I do remember that, Tony. Yes, I do.
For my next conspiracy theory, here's his next prediction. Is Dunstable is to merge with Luton, so that would mean that BBC Three Counties Radio, he put countries, if only, domination of 3 countries, could still be in Luton. They will never let you leave, says Tony. Never.
Permission to speak freely, Catherine?
Well, since when did you ask my permission to do that?
Well, I'm going to be asking it less and less, because I'm surprised you're still here today.
So am I. The meeting I had yesterday, flipping it.
After yesterday, and I don't want to... it's not gloating, But
It is a bit, and to be honest, you pushed it this morning. I don't know why I get different treatment from you. I said it by accident. You said bum on purpose.
It's different coming from... That's another one for the list. It's different coming from a woman's mouth, and what you said yesterday was far, far worse. Now, I'm not gloating, but I was called in to the lady boss's office yesterday.
To give Ev, and thanks for backing me up. Oh, no, you didn't.
No, I said exactly what happened on yesterday's show.
Yeah.
I gave witness. I gave testimony.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm surprised you're here today. I think you're seeing her at 10:30 this morning. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It's been really nice working with you.
What happened on yesterday's show?
Let's not talk about it.
Oh.
We'll talk about it off air. Kath embarrassed herself.
Let's just say my garden's going to be getting some action over the next couple of weeks.
Oh, huh?
In her back garden, in her house. Yeah. If you missed it yesterday, if you heard it yesterday, we are working on the wording of the apology now, and probably be an apology. Well, let's see what happens in Kath's meeting at 10:30. But Catherine, it's certainly been a few months that we've worked together. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. 3 days ago, a Luton taxi driver had his windows smashed in with a hammer in what police are treating as a racially motivated attack. Now Luton taxi drivers are telling us they're afraid they'll lose their jobs if they defend themselves from the all-too-frequent abuse. This driver didn't want to be named, but here's what he told Justin Dealey yesterday.
Do you feel safe as a taxi driver, sir?
Not all the time. And the predominant reason for that is that the council doesn't give us the right to defend ourselves. If any taxi driver were to act to defend himself, more than likely he'd lose his badge. So you're in a catch-22 situation where you probably rather get attacked and let it happen and then do something about it, go through the channels of police and that, then actually defend yourself.
It sounds to me like you have been attacked in the past.
Verbally I have, and it actually worked out worse for me, getting verbally attacked, so...
If you don't mind me asking, what was said to you?
Well, I was called a to be blunt. I was compared to Osama bin Laden. I made a complaint and there was a counter-allegation, and the council would rather believe a customer than believe a taxi driver. So this is a predicament we're all in, actually.
And again, this attack at the weekend, we believe, was racially motivated. There's still morons out there, clearly, in this town who are very racist.
I'd agree with that. It's a minority. I want to say it's a majority. Majority of Lutonians are fair people. But, when you see somebody you think is not protected by a body, you see that as an advantage to go and attack that person. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're saying. I mean, what you're saying echoes what every taxi driver's saying here, that you have to do this job, but you want more protection. You feel, whether it's the council or the police, you're not protected, you're not 100% safe, are you?
No, I wouldn't blame the police for this. Police are brilliant. If I was to call the police would do what they can when they could, like, to protect me. The police will do their job. I think it's the licensing. I blame the licensing for it. The licensing don't give us enough protection, don't give us enough information to tell us how to protect ourselves. And that's the biggest problem. The main fear that anybody or any taxi driver, I don't know if they'll say this to you or not, is the fear of losing their badge if they defend themselves. And every taxi driver here has probably got that fear.
Very, very interesting stuff. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we asked Luton Borough Council for an interview to respond to that, but despite them saying they have no problems with them coming on the show, we're still waiting for a response. So instead, we're going to speak to Lewis Williams, who's a private hire driver in Bedford. Morning, Lewis.
Morning.
Lewis, what do you make of what that cabbie said there? If drivers defend themselves, chances are they'll lose their badge.
I think the main thing is that if you talk to any taxi driver, private hire driver in any part of your region, you would get exactly the same comments. It's reflected across the whole area. It's not just Luton. Taxi drivers and private hire drivers get the impression, whether it's rightly or wrongly, that the enforcement officers are more interested in finding a minor misdemeanor for a driver than they are in looking for the protection of the driver or listening to the driver's complaint. The courts have a place as well, because sometimes if it goes to court, if the police do actually prosecute somebody, the chances are the magistrates will just say, oh, it was the drink, no, never mind, go away and play, without any thought as to the impact that attack or that racial abuse may have had on the driver.
So you don't feel that you don't feel, Lewis, that you're protected then?
No, I think it's the problem is that the perception and the councils don't help themselves by the fact that they don't give the information that that driver was talking about. Many years ago, we did have some information that came from the councils, but that seems to have disappeared over the last few years. That cooperation that there was between local authorities and the drivers, where people were trying to talk to each other so that they understood each other's concerns, and that seems to have vanished over the last few years. And that's not just in Luton or Bedford; it's across the whole of your region.
Have you ever had any trouble, Lewis, in your car?
Occasionally, but I think it's changed. I think that the way that the people deal with it has changed. Many years ago, there was that kind of problem, but you used to be able to have a joke and that would clear the air. That seems to have vanished in the way that the people abuse now. There isn't the sort of the way that you could actually deal with it as you could a few years ago, where you could they would say something, you could make a joke, and it would turn into a conversation. That now is more. There's more of a violent element in the way that the abuse comes over and is coming over to the drivers. And again, as that driver said, if they complain, the chances are that they're the people who will be accused, rather than the person who actually did the abuse themselves.
In Bedford, Lewis, there were calls. Well, I remember we did this story maybe about a year ago for CCTV to be installed in cabs. Has that happened?
No, it hasn't happened. One of the difficulties there is the costs involved. The other thing is that the chances are that will protect the drivers, and that does have an evidential impact. But there are some fairly serious costs involved. And of course, if you change a vehicle, for example, you can't just transfer the system over, because it has to be refitted depending on the vehicle. So there are complications with it. It is happening, but it's something that unfortunately is not only for the driver but also for the local authorities. There are some fairly serious cost implications.
Lewis, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. That's Lewis Williams, a private hire driver in Bedford. 08459 455 555. You can give us a call on that, or you can give us a call, well, on pretty much anything you want. Open door policy here on this show.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Delays on the M25 at the moment between junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40, and it's also heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 20 for Kings Langley. There are queues on the A1 southbound at Stirling Corner and also further down between Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. The M1 Luton Spur has major roadworks in both directions between junction 10A for Kidneywood Roundabout and the M1 junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road, so it's going to affect you if you're travelling to Luton Airport. And on the A40 London Road on the main route through Beaconsfield Old Town, there's resurfacing work in both directions between Park Lane and Windsor End. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. Hey, we've had a text about how to keep cool. I kind of like the sound of this. Mike says I put a few pairs of clean socks in the freezer. Boy, it feels good when I put them on a really hot day. I'm kind of thinking pants.
Don't you end up with wet socks, though? You don't want damp pants.
Would you put them in a plastic bag? That would protect them, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Mike, how do you stop yourself getting wet feet? We need more details, please.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: Luton Borough Council has launched a legal challenge against plans to build thousands of homes north of Houghton Regis. It says Central Bedfordshire Council is building homes that aren't affordable when there's a dire lack of housing in the town. EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel. The Luton-based airline says it will review its decision on a day-by-day basis. Taxi drivers in Luton say they're not defending themselves against verbal or racial abuse for fear of losing their livelihoods. It comes after a cabbie had his windows smashed in with a hammer during a racially motivated attack on Sunday. The weather will be cloudy at first but staying dry with plenty of sunshine. Top temperatures around 28 degrees Celsius. That's 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The The Commonwealth Games gets underway today with the opening ceremony in Glasgow. Olympic legend Sir Chris Hoy, who has the velodrome venue named after him, says the Games are a great opportunity for young athletes.
Glasgow is going to be spectacular. You get to compete for your home country. It's often a chance for new athletes to come through. In track cycling, for example, at the Olympic Games, you get one rider per event per nation. And at the Commonwealth Games, you get 3. So there's far more inclusion for some of the younger athletes.
On to football, and striker Paul Benson has signed a 2-year contract with Luton Town after being released by Swindon. Benson spent last season on loan at Kenilworth Road, scoring 18 goals in 38 games. Meanwhile, manager John Still has given Steve McNulty a new contract. Wickham came from 2-0 down to draw with Chesham at the Meadow last night. MK Dons beat League 2 Dagenham and Redbridge by 1-0. There's some concern for captain Dean Lewington, who was taken off with a knee injury. He's due to celebrate his testimonial against Nottingham Forest on Sunday. And Stevenage beat Tunbridge Angels 3-1 in their latest pre-season friendly. The Queen's Horse Estimate has tested positive for morphine. Initial findings suggest the problem lies in contaminated feed. Here's our horse racing correspondent Cornelius Lycett.
Last week, racing's regulator, the British Horse Racing Authority, announced that 5 horses had tested positive for morphine, prohibited on race days, but declined to give any further information pending an investigation. It was Buckingham Palace which revealed that one of the 5 is the Queen's best horse of the moment, the Sir Michael Stoute-trained Estimate, winner of last year's Gold Cup at Royal Ascot and only beaten in a thrilling finish to the race this year.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport, with more at 8 o'clock.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, yeah! Ways to keep cool at night. There's not really a lot to talk about this morning, so we're just kind of dipping our toe into whatever, calling with whatever. I've got to say, can we stop this now? This is not becoming an incident that we will deal with on air.
We're not supposed to be talking about
Catherine, we will not be dealing with this on air. This is strictly an off... Well, it started as an on-air problem. It will be dealt with off-air through the official channels.
I'm glad we're not talking about it.
Leslie has texted in, Lady Boss is welcome to call me regarding the Philip Seymour Hoffman mistake. Any attempt to punish Catherine is ridiculous. You spelt her name wrong. She uses a K, not a C.
No, but she spelled Seymour right, and that's the important thing.
It was an obvious slip of the tongue. Oh, full of innuendo, Leslie. Unlike Iain's banging with Kelly today. We were banging on the window. Kelly and I were banging on the window. What's the joke there? Leslie?
Listen, I don't think we should be talking about this.
No, we're not talking about this specifically. I just want to address Leslie's issue. Thank you for your concern. It really is nothing to do with any of the listeners now. This is being dealt with higher up the food chain.
Off air.
End of.
Off air.
Oh.
Well, I
You might as well leave.
I think your fate has been well and truly sealed, Catherine. Apologies to anyone listening offended by that. I think this is...
This whole thing's shaking me, though. I can't,
Just proves it's not a one-off, doesn't it?
Well, I've just let myself down.
Kelly,
now.
could you do me a favour? Could you clip that and send that to Lady Boss, please?
Yes.
Just put in the subject heading, Ev.
Yep.
OK, well, that's a shame. That's a real shame. Dennis is on the line. Morning, Dennis.
Good morning. Catherine, what's she getting?
I'm going to leave her microphone down for a little bit. I think is probably appropriate.
No, what's this? What's this business when she got the word quite wrong?
Dennis, seriously, I'm not
talking about sailors at the time.
Dennis, seriously, I'm not allowed to. I've just had an email from Lady Boss now. I'm not even allowed to talk about it. So let's move on. What did you call in about today, Dennis?
Well, taxi drivers, it's not changed. I mean, I was a taxi driver years ago in Dunstable when it was very quiet. But even then, the police used to chase us around. They issued far too many certificates for taxi drivers with not enough spaces to park properly, right? So if we've parked in a side road, we get chased. And if we didn't go out, we got hammered by the council for not working. And there was nothing to do. I mean... Saturday night was good. Sunday night was going off. Monday was even worse. Tuesday, you might as well stayed at home. I've actually gone out of the house.
And were you making love on Wednesday?
No, I was out working. I used to go on at 6 o'clock, buy the petrol, and by midnight I'd probably not even made the money back. So it was like that. It was deadly.
Is there a job, Dennis, that you haven't done? So let's go through Dennis's CV.
Yeah.
You've been to prison. You've made rocking horses.
Yep.
You were a taxi.
Yeah.
You're you're a sailor.
Yes.
An annoying bore on radio phoning shows. Is there anything you haven't done?
Listen to me. Somebody stopped me in Sainsbury's the other day and said it was about time I had a programme with you.
What?
I said, you couldn't afford me. You could not afford me.
I'm sure we could find a couple of shekels and a groat somewhere.
No, you could not afford me.
Who stopped you in Tesco's? Was it your wife?
No, somebody else who recognised the voice when I was shouting at my missus.
Was it the store detective?
No.
Did someone really come up to you and say, I recognise your voice?
Yes, they did, yes. Honestly, I'm not kidding you.
How did that make you feel as a person?
Well, I thought, damn it all, I might as well ask for a fee from you.
Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed your phone calls, Dennis. It's a shame it had to end there.
Why?
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Ask about the what?
The Specsavers conundrum.
Can you be trusted?
No.
I'm hovering over this.
You do it. I've lost all confidence.
All right, well, what paper was it in? The Times?
Yeah. I folded the corner over.
I tell you what I'm going to have your microphone down a bit. Speak. Okay, so you're quiet. So if I will hear what you're saying, but if you're swearing, then they probably won't hear you. Does that sound fair?
Have you got a bleep button?
I've got something we can use as a bleep button. Hang on a second. Yeah, start swearing.
No. I'm not going to be swearing like that.
Okay, just going to keep you faded down a bit.
Okay.
So the story is one-eyed man begs for half-price tests.
Why?
I'm telling you why.
I'm asking in short sentences. Why?
Don't shout. Oh, I'm going to turn your microphone down a little bit more if you're going to shout to compensate. There is an old joke about a man with one eye who argues that a cinema should let him in half price. Why are we starting off with a joke? Instead, the ticket seller charges him double because he claims it will take him twice as long to watch the film. David Rainsford should watch what he wishes for. All right, Patrick Kidd, who wrote this story. Let's be sarky. Mr. Rainsford, who lost his eye when he was 14, has written to Specsavers head office to demand that the price of his eye test be reduced. The father of two argues that since he has a glass eye, he should pay half the consultation fee. It's discriminatory, said Mr. Rainsford, an operations manager from Cramlington, Northumberland. You cannot get a disease in a glass eye. I have to look after the eye I have left. The thing is, if you only had one eye tested, right?
More important.
Huh?
More important.
If you only had one eye tested, it doesn't halve the length of time you're in the opticians.
True.
I'm sorry, what?
True.
It does, yeah. So why would you get a 50% reduction?
Does it work for gloves if you've only got one hand? Could somebody argue the same?
What, about an optician's? Probably not, Kelly,
the opticians. The glovists.
There was that man with the trainer. Tell him that story.
What's the story with the man with the trainer?
A fella had one leg, he nicked a trainer, and he got done for it. Oh, she's going to swear! Oh, I think I got there just in time. Just in time. Joyce in Leagrave, I can only apologise for some of the language this morning.
Apology accepted.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's just hope
it again.
Well, no, it wasn't me. Let's just hope Tony Hall, who owns the BBC, and indeed Lord Sebastian Coe and Sir Stephen O'Vettington accept the apology as well for Kelly's...
I'll send you a reference in.
It's not for me! I've not sworn! I know the rules of radio!
For our three counties, yes.
You said Kelly.
When?
Just then.
When?
You said apologise for Kelly's...
I meant Catherine. I apologise for my mistake.
Welcome.
See, your microphone ain't never coming back on.
Stop talking about it.
Stopped. Joyce!
Right.
This fella, he's got one eye. Should he get half price on an eye test?
No, not really. Perhaps they should test where the the artificial eye is for trouble at the back of the eye. You don't know, you see. If they examine the other eye.
Oh.
Without the eyeball. Yeah?
Oh, don't you start.
Right. Okay, you know you were saying about your socks and your unmentionables in the freezer.
My underpants. I wear a loose-fitting short.
Just a minute, I'm trying to picture it. Okay, carry on.
A loose-fitting short from Marks and Spencer's.
Right.
Wonderful. Yes, I'm thinking. So someone has suggested I put them in the freezer or the fridge.
Yes, you do.
Really?
Yeah, you said that.
Who said that?
You did.
Well, someone suggested it.
Oh, I see. Anyway,
what?
This is a little tip for any mum or dad or anybody buying a furry toy from any of the children's shops, Kids Cottage or the children's shop, anywhere, okay, or the Heart Shop. And, you know, you should clean them as they do. What? They look lovely and everything with a bit of Dettol, that Dettol stuff.
Joyce, I glimpsed away for a second because I've got a stroppy text from Leslie again.
Oh, right.
And then I missed... What am I cleaning with Dettol?
The furry toy.
Oh, OK.
A furry animal or toy from the children's shop.
OK. Why would you clean it with Dettol?
You know the Dettol cleaner? Not the Dettol like you put on your legs and whatever.
I know Dettol.
Okay. Well,
Dettol.
You just wipe that down.
Dettol!
It's
dinner time!
I'm
a Russian oligarch.
Oh, right.
Dettol! It is dinner time! Come downstairs now for your dinner!
You wipe this little furry thing down nicely.
Oh, Joyce, don't you start, please.
And you talk to it.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
And then...
I've got no idea where we're going with this. Yes?
You put it in a freezer bag.
Yeah.
Or any bag, carrier bag, anything. It all depends how big it is.
Yeah, of course it does.
And then you put it in the freezer overnight.
Yeah. Well, so you got frozen Dettol lollipop.
And that kills all the bacteria inside the little toy.
What bacteria?
Well, there's always bacteria in those little bunny furry things.
Listen, kids should be eating dirt and shoving worms up their nose.
Well, I believe that they should pick up little bits of germs here and there, but you don't know where that little animal toy has been,
It's been in the toy shop.
I know, but you know what I mean, don't you?
Do you mean second-hand ones?
Yes, of course.
Oh, my wife won't let me buy second-hand cuddly toys for the kids.
Oh, I bought a lovely rabbit. It's about 1.5 foot long.
Sorry?
It's beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you put that?
And I'm going to hide it. For the great-grandson, I'm going to hide it so he thinks it's a real one when he sees it.
How old's the great-grandson? 26?
No, he's about 2 years old.
Oh, bless you. But that's Joyce, that's very sweet. Thank you very much. Mike's in Bedford. Morning, Mike.
Yeah, and I want on about putting my socks in the freezer.
Oh, you're the cold sock man!
Yes. I don't have a problem with a damp because I don't feel it, sort of thing, because my feet are so hot. If it does go damp, it just helps cool my feet. And I've just gone and put a couple of T-shirts in the freezer.
You are insane here. Yeah, go on.
I'm going to try it, Ian. Anything when it gets too hot, because I'm getting a bit old for the heat now. So.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. It's too hot. Can we have winter again, please?
So I've put a couple of T-shirts.
Oh, you've got to put some pants in there for us.
No, I'm not that brave.
No, do it.
No, because everything shrinks.
Yeah, well,
I haven't got enough to shrink.
Mike, thank you very much indeed. Leslie's texted in. Leslie, I'll read this out, and then this is the end of it, please. Please. If Catherine is suspended, who's mentioned suspension? I will be writing it. You've brought that up. I will be writing in to complain. OK. And Ian, you clearly ended your window story of the statement you were banging with Kelly. Innuendo, of course. Taken as such, yes. We were banging the window together. Kelly and I told you we were banging the window. Kelly and I were banging the window.
We were.
And we upset, trying to get the attention of some drunks. And Jonathan Vernon-Smith heard, and he looked around, and we hid.
Yeah.
That's what you do, Ian. I'm not having a dig at you, but Catherine does not deserve punishment for yesterday. Well, Leslie, you know what she did yesterday. I'm guessing you probably...
Let's not talk about it anymore.
Well, no, I know, but just when this... OK.
But, Leslie, I've got your phone number, so...
For goodness sakes.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Delays at the moment on the M25 between junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40. It's also heavy clockwise between junction 21 for the anti-clockwise, for the M1 and junction 20 for Kings Langley. Very slow again on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout, and there are queues on the A1 southbound at Stirling Corner, and that's causing problems back to Boreham Wood. Also slow further down between Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. And on the A40 London Road on the main route through Beaconsfield Old Town, there's resurfacing work in both directions between Park Lane and Windsor End, so do expect delays. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 7:46. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council says building expensive homes on land near Houghton Regis will do nothing to solve the town's housing crisis. EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel. And people in Aylesbury are demanding the roundabout at Devereux Place on the A41 is made safer after numerous accidents there. We'll be hearing more about that in a little bit, but right now let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Not a bad start at all this morning. We have some blue sky and sunshine for many of us. Just a bit of cloud up towards parts of Bedfordshire and the further east you go at the moment, but it looking like that's melting away fairly significantly and fairly quickly as well. So we're bathed in blue sky and sunshine for the rest of the day, and the temperature likely to get up to around 28 Celsius. Just a bit of light relief coming in from the east in the form of a very light breeze, which could just take the edge off the stifling temperature. It's going to be a really nice evening, warm and sunny. Sunset's just after 9 when it does. We'll get another warm and muggy night. May get a bit of cloud moving in from the east as well, but the minimum temperature in the colder spots 15, built up areas though 16 to 17 Celsius, so still another warm, uncomfortable night. Similar start for tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, perhaps a bit of cloud at first, but that will again melt away, and tomorrow afternoon the maximum temperature is likely to reach 28 Celsius. And that's your forecast.
Kate, I appreciate you joining in the bants on Twitter. You've joined our Beatles puns. You've come up with Here Comes the Bum. But just proofread them before you send them, please.
Oh, no, sorry. Lazy.
Very,
Lazy,
very naughty.
isn't it?
Kate, thank you very much.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks.
It's a lovely combination of town and country.
There's some really good rural qualities around here.
And all this week we're featuring Stotfold and Henlow.
It's a fascinating place. There's quite a lot of country walks you can do.
It's a good mixed town.
Inviting everyone to where you live.
Everybody's so nice and friendly. That's what I like about it.
There's a community spirit that people seem to pick up on.
If you've got a story everyone should hear about, let us tell them about it.
It's a very friendly, gentle place to live.
I was born here.
We've only been here for a few years and been made to feel really welcome.
The big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks from BBC Three Counties Radio.
A little bit of a carnival vibe there with that kind of music. I'm wanting to get out my steel drums, get some patties and put some fruit on my head. Feeling carnival. I've never been to a carnival in my life, and do you know what, guys? I'm probably never going to go to one. Now, people living in Aylesbury say someone could be killed if changes are not made to a roundabout opposite their homes. There have been a number of collisions where Devereux Place meets the A41 Bicester Road, with the latest one earlier this month. Well, our reporter Justin Dealey has been speaking to residents Wilma and Joe about this. Justin, what have they had to say?
Morning, boss. Well, they feel the council are ignoring their concerns. Now, when I arrived at this roundabout on Monday, I was there for only 15 minutes, and in 15 minutes I saw 3 near misses, and that was when the roundabout wasn't particularly busy. Also, there was debris by the roundabout from a previous accident. So from what I saw, clearly a problem. Here's what Joe and Wilma had to say. Joe, what's your message to the local council, Bucks County Council, about the situation here?
Well, statistics were mentioned from them that it was something like 5 accidents reported in 12 years, was it, Wilma? Something like that. And statistics, my foot, because there's been 3 in the last week. So not all road traffic accidents are reported. Not all insurances report the accidents. The 3 that we've had this week weren't reported, other than for us to ask the council to come and clear the debris. And as you can see, the debris is still here.
Do you think if they don't solve this and quickly, they will live to regret that?
I think that's always the case with the council, whoever's in charge of the roads and, servicing and maintaining them, getting statistics, true statistics. They need to come and watch this roundabout. We've requested that they come and watch it.
They haven't done that?
No, they haven't.
So they're not interested?
Not interested at all.
Wilma?
The council assured me that they would send a technician out, and in fact told me that somebody would telephone me so that we could make an arrangement for them to come out. That was on the 27th of June. I'm still waiting, Justin.
Again, we should put that point to them. And lastly, did I hear a mention of a comparison to Beirut a moment ago here?
Well, I suppose it's not very fair, but really and truly, sometimes I don't know whether, we're in Beirut or New York with all the tooting, those yellow taxis going round, but everyone seems to then be vying for a space when it becomes a single lane traffic area, and this is the problem we are constantly having.
Another near miss there. Do you think the council simply don't care about you and the local people?
I think Justin, we have to make this point so clear to the council. We are not, the question is not to ridicule them and to get them to do anything that is going to cause over budgeting, etc., etc. But we are just asking them most respectfully, come out here, have a look, spend, at least a few hours, and then you can see it from our point of view. And in that way, some minor alteration can be done to prevent anything really, really bad happening.
Well, we can speak to Ruth Feigl-Headley, Cabinet Member for Transportation at Bucks County Council. Ruth, any chance you could go out there and see what's happening?
Oh, yes, good morning to you. Absolutely, more than happy to go up, more than happy to stand there and have a look. I'm just really sorry to have heard what I've just heard. Certainly, people's safety, road safety, is of paramount importance. I'm recently appointed, and that's my ethos. More than happy to go and meet the residents, more than happy to welcome the residents into Bucks County Council to sit down and to discuss this further. What more can I offer to do? I'm just very, very saddened to hear their views and the way that they feel let down by us, because that's certainly not something I would do.
I like you, Ruth.
Oh, thank you.
Well, no, you've come on. You're not flim-flammed. You've come on and said, "Oh yeah, some people are upset. Okay, how can we sort this out?" I think that has to be respected. That there is a discrepancy, isn't there, between your statistics and what the residents are seeing happening there. How does that happen? Do you think?
Well, I heard one lady saying that it was over a 14-year period. The stats that I've got are from 2009 until current, so it's a 5-year period. But do you know what? It doesn't matter whether there's been one accident or 30 accidents. The residents aren't happy. The residents feel that there is a safety issue. As I've said, I'm more than happy to go myself with an engineer, a qualified engineer. It may mean that the roundabout just needs further lining and signing.
So what could be done? How would you do that?
Well, I mean, as I say, until I see it, I can't categorically tell you.
What powers do you have to change things there, Ruth?
Well, I'm the Cabinet Member for Transportation.
You can do what you want.
Well, within reason, yeah.
Good. So when do you think you might be able to go down and have a chat with those two ladies and see what's happening?
Well, I shall most definitely have an engineer up there today. I shall see if I can get my diary arranged so that I can pop up tomorrow. I don't know the actual ladies' names and details in question, and obviously I wouldn't ask you to air that on the radio.
Nope.
But I will get somebody to call you or your office and see if we can make contact with them. If I can get out to them tomorrow, more than happy to do so.
Hey, listen, can I just say, this is so refreshing, Ruth. The number of times we have cabinet members and councillors and things come on and say, "Oh no, well, it's not my responsibility," and we have to run it through the board. Genuinely, I'm very impressed with your attitude and your kind. No, seriously, I think I often have a go at people on here, but credit where credit's due. You've come on. You've said, "Yeah, this falls under my remit. We'll have a little look, and we'll go and see if there's anything that can be done." And I think you should be thoroughly applauded for that.
Thank you.
Stay there, because I think we're getting. It's Mavis. Who are the two ladies that Justin was talking to? It was Joe and Wilma. We got Joe on the line. Morning, Joe.
Good morning. Lovely to speak to you.
Nice to speak to you in person. Did you just hear what Ruth was saying?
I did, but A, it wasn't in 14 years, and B, as Wilma said, she had tried to get somebody from June to come over.
But listen, Ruth is saying, yes, OK, there may have been mistakes in the past. She's going to send a technician down there, and she's going to come down there and have a look herself.
That's great, but that's what we've been waiting for since June. But somebody said they would come over since June.
But hang on, it's only July. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Fantastic.
Joe, and I know you're frustrated, and I know exactly why you're frustrated. And we've been talking about this story for a while here, and you're basically worried that someone's going to get hurt. And of course it's taken a while to get there. But today, Ruth has said at some point soon, a technician and Ruth herself, the cabinet member for transportation, they're going to come down and have a look and see if there's anything they can do.
That'd be lovely.
Is that okay?
We'll be there waiting.
Brilliant, excellent stuff, Joe. We'll swap details. Ruth, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry the ladies are so frustrated, but I will be out there myself. Either I'll try and get there this afternoon. If not, it'll be tomorrow. But I will certainly have a qualified engineer to come out and reassess the roundabout. And as I say, it could be something simple like lineage, signage, driver education. I don't know until I get there or the engineer advises, but we are on it, and I don't want to hear residents this upset. I don't want people having accidents on our roads. And if we can prevent it, we will do so.
Ruth, maybe we'll have a little chat at the end of the week or early next week to see if there is anything that can be done?
Absolutely, not a problem at all.
I appreciate your time. Thank you. That's Ruth Vigor Headley. Remember her name? Vigor. Well, I'll remember her name. I'll get it right. Ruth Vigor Headley, Cabinet Member for Transportation at Bucks County Council. How refreshing is that? I'm shocked. I'm sat here with my sleeves rolled up. Did you hear that, Justin?
Absolutely fantastic. Fair play. 10 out of 10.
I am sat here with my sleeves rolled up. I've pushed my coffee to the side. I'm all set for a Barney.
Yep.
And listen, that's a lesson to all of you councillors, all of you cabinet members, all of you MPs. She completely disarmed me in her first sentence.
Absolutely.
Oh, there's a problem. It falls under my powers. I'll go and have a look.
Yeah, maybe this afternoon. I mean, it's incredible. That's what all councils should be doing. They should be taking a clip of that, and that should be sent round to training centres for councils right the way across Beds, Herts and Bucks. That is the way to do things.
Justin, excellent stuff. Thank you very much. I'm shocked because I don't think I've ever heard that anywhere.
Not that fast, no.
I'm trying to think on Newsnight or local radio and everywhere in between. I don't think I've heard someone come on and say, "Oh, OK, there's a problem. I'm sorry about that. That's really bad." OK.
Do you know what? Sometimes it's not as simple as that, but they do have warning about what we're going to talk about. So you would think that maybe a strategy could be formed beforehand to look as if you are interested and you'll do something.
So often, this is why we, occasionally we struggle to get people to come on because they don't want to address things head on.
They don't want to look bad.
They don't want to look bad, but and they won't accept responsibility or answer the question. But Ruth completely disarmed me. I had nothing to go for then because she said, "Oh, it's that's really bad. I'm upset that people are upset. But let's see if we can sort this out." Wowzers!
Human being.
Yeah, exactly, a human being. And how do you react to something like that, Kath? Oh, for goodness sakes, Catherine!
Travel news for Beds, Herts and Bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Delays on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. Also heavy anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 20 for Kings Langley. Very slow again on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And it's slow on a few parts of the A1. Firstly at the Black Cat roundabout. There's also queues southbound at Stirling Corner and causing problems back to Boreham Wood. It's also slow further down between Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. The M1 Luton Spur has major roadworks in both directions between the Kidney Wood roundabout and the Luton Airport Spur Road. That's going to affect you if you're travelling to Luton Airport today. And on the A40 London Road on the main route through Beaconsfield Old Town has resurfacing work in both directions between Park Lane and Windsor End. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Chris. Dean has tweeted, "Wow, a council member who actually listens and wants to help. That's like seeing a shooting star. Extremely rare." We're all all a little bit in shock here this morning. Well done, Ruth.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: row over housing in Bedfordshire, a teenager drowns in Buckinghamshire, and EasyJet suspends flights to Israel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Borough Council has launched a legal challenge against plans to build thousands of homes north of Houghton Regis. It says Central Bedfordshire Council is building homes that aren't affordable when there's a dire lack of housing in the town. Zoe MacDonald and her partner and their 1-year-old daughter have been told they can't stay on the council waiting list.
I've been on the council waiting list since 2011, even got to the stage of bidding on houses and being considered for them, and we've just received a letter now telling us that we're no longer eligible for a property. Well, we can't afford to pay private rent.
Victims of the plane crash in Ukraine are being flown back to the Netherlands today. A national day of mourning is being held across Holland. A teenage boy has drowned in the River Thames at Marlow. Police divers found his body last night. Barry Caffrey reports.
Officers were called to the river near Gosmore Lane at about 4:30 yesterday afternoon after reports that someone was in the river. At just after 8 o'clock in the evening, divers from the Specialist Search and Rescue Team recovered the body of the boy, who is believed to be a 13-year-old from the Marlow area. The death is not believed to be suspicious.
EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel. The Luton-based airline says it will review its decision on a day-by-day basis. Taxi drivers in Luton say the fear of losing their jobs makes them too afraid to defend themselves if they're racially or physically abused. It comes after a taxi driver had his windows smashed in with a hammer during a racially motivated attack on Sunday. Private hire driver Lewis Williams told Iain Lee they don't feel they're being backed by local authorities.
Taxi drivers and private hire drivers get the impression, whether it's rightly or wrongly, that the enforcement officers are more interested in finding a minor misdemeanour for a driver than they are in looking for the protection of the driver or listening to the driver's complaint.
People in Aylesbury are warning that someone could be killed if improvements aren't made to a busy roundabout. They say too many collisions are happening opposite Devereux Place on the A41. Wilma Cordell has had her car written off.
We feel that accidents are going to continue to happen along this stretch of road. And if we don't do anything about it, sadly, we feel that there could be a fatality one of these days. We don't want that at all.
In sport, the opening ceremony of the 20th Commonwealth Games takes place in Glasgow this evening. It's expected to have a global television audience of more than 1 billion people. And the weather will be cloudy at first, but staying dry with plenty of sunshine. Top temperatures around 28 degrees Celsius. That's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It's a lovely combination of town and country.
It's all about where you live.
There's some really good rural qualities around here.
And all this week we're featuring Stotfold and Henlow.
I married a Stotfold man and we stayed here.
As far as Bedfordshire goes, this must be one of the nicest places to live.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm just doing a FaceTime with Kelly Betts. Is it innuendo in that? Is there, Leslie? Just doing a FaceTime. It's the only way I can communicate safely with the other studio, Kelly, without Catherine swearing or...
Swearing?
Yeah, doing something potty-mouthed.
It's awful.
We'll leave it there then, shall we?
Hey, hang on, Iain.
Catherine... Oh, we can hear Catherine. We could hear it. No. Man alive. What do we do this for? Every day it's the same old... Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, 4 minutes past 8. On today's show, Rose and more Rose. Row 1, councils go head-to-head on housing. Row 2, taxi drivers say they're rowing with racists. It's all kicking off, basically.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Maria's on the line. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning.
What would you like to say?
Well, I've got a cutting here because I collect papers to put down for my dogs when I go out.
Yeah.
Necessary. And there's a soldier nickname Bomb Magnet.
Bomb Magnet?
Yes.
That's not a great nickname for a soldier.
Well, that's what they call him.
The Bomb Magnet,
After being blown up 17 times by...
Oh, blimey.
Incendiary
devices.
Incendiary attacks.
Yep.
Yesterday received a medal for gallantry from the Prince of Wales, Buckingham Palace.
Well, isn't that something to celebrate?
It happened on the paper the 12th of July.
Fantastic.
I'm wondering if we can't send him a parcel
what?
from
Well, hang on,
our
what?
country. I think that would be wonderful.
Send him a parcel?
A parcel.
Of
he must
what?
be still fighting. He thought he'd lost his leg at Rent.
Well, he's got a medal and he's been awarded by the Queen. That's reward enough, isn't it?
Well, don't you think it would be lovely to send him a parcel?
What would you put in a parcel to a soldier that you never met, whose nickname is Bomb Magnet?
Chocolate, sweets.
Not a clock.
I can tell you what they like. My friend's a soldier.
Oh yeah, go on. What are the chocolates and sweets?
Chocolates, sweets.
Definitely not a ticking clock.
You could You can put in.
Yeah.
You know those little
a razor for to shave. I thought and stuff to put on his
smellies.
Face. They do like smellies because obviously it's difficult out there.
Yeah.
And it's nice to pamper yourself.
Flannel soap.
Flannels.
Magazines, but they're heavy, so be careful.
Nuts.
You can send them BFPO for free.
Nuts.
You've got to send light things.
Yeah.
Toothbrushes.
Put it in a shoebox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what else they like? Booze, but don't put too much in because the fun police take them out.
No, don't want to give them booze.
Yeah, you can give them like little gin and
You can't
tonics
give soldiers
and things.
booze.
You can, they love it.
Can't give
Do
soldiers
you think
booze.
we could arrange it?
Well, Maria, listen, that can be a little, if you want to, that's a little project that you could certainly get involved with all by yourself, maybe members of your local community.
I think you can just randomly send parcels.
I think you can send parcels. Maria, that would be a lovely thing to do. Good for you.
But where can we send it to?
Afghanistan,
They're at
are we still
war out
there?
No, you send it BFPO. Go and ask at the post office. They'll have an address for you.
Will they?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just pick a place and they'll give you the BFPO address. You can write it on the front of your box. BFPO.
BSEO.
BFPO.
CO.
No, P. P for Paul. Or Peter.
DS. Say it again.
B. B for for Buzzy B. F for Freddie.
Yes.
Don't get frustrated, Catherine. She's doing her best, all right? For goodness sakes. Oh, she's doing... Try.
P for Pepper. And O for...
BST.
Yes, you're nearly there. And then O for O.
So,
BSTO.
No, hang on. What are you saying, Maria?
BSTO.
It's not an S and there's not a T in there.
No.
Catherine, you're not enunciating. It's your accent. Try and do it in a normal voice.
F for Freddie.
I've got that.
Yeah.
Where?
P for Pepper.
P for pepper, yeah.
Yeah, not T. There you go. You're done.
So what letters have you got?
BSPO.
Beautiful. OK. Well, you do that, Maria, and that'll be...
I've got that, right. I'll do my best to get something out there.
Good for you. Well done. What a generous, spirited lady she certainly is. Fantastic. Excellent stuff, Maria. Thank you.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
BBC Three Counties has uncovered a bitter row over housing between Luton and Central Bedfordshire councils. Luton has launched a legal challenge against plans for thousands of homes to the north of Houghton Regis, arguing it's the wrong kind of housing. Well, Zoe MacDonald, her partner and their one-year-old daughter have been on Luton Council's housing list since September. Our reporter, Sophie Solaria, spoke to Zoe about her desperation to move into a bigger place.
We moved here just over 12 months ago. We privately rent. I've been on the council waiting list since 2011. Even got to the stage of bidding on houses and being considered for them. And we've just received a letter now telling us that we're no longer eligible for a property. Well, we can't afford to pay private rent. It's over £200 a month more than council rent. We're struggling each week just to make ends meet, and I don't know what we're going to do. The owner of the house has recently passed away, so the house we currently rent may be getting sold, and to move anywhere else I need over £1,000 deposit, which I just haven't got.
Have the council told you why you're not eligible?
They've just said to me that it's because my husband works full-time, they think we should be able to afford to rent privately. He's a roof tiler.
You can't afford to live in Kempston otherwise?
No, it's hard enough finding 4-bed properties, and the rent on them, you're lucky if you get anything below £900.
And you say that you're in your overdraft every month to try and pay already?
Every week, yeah. We use all our overdraft every week so that when my husband then gets paid on a Friday, we've hardly got anything left, so then it's back on the overdraft again.
What are you going to do, Karen?
I have no idea at all. I haven't got the money for a deposit to move anywhere else. I have no idea what to do.
Well, listening to that is Rick Blythe, Head of Policy at the Royal Town Planning Institute. Morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Now, Rick, obviously you can't talk about the legalities of this, and that it would appear there's a bitter feud between the two councils. How common are rows between councils over building on land?
Councils have a duty to cooperate between each other to produce the plans that they produce for housing and other purposes. There are some cases where it has not been possible to arrive at that cooperation and agreement, and there are other cases where it's happened successfully. But a row is possibly putting it a bit strongly.
These problems aren't just limited to Luton, are there? There are other areas where a council is limited to where it can build. They just don't have the space. What else are they supposed to do?
There are many cases where the boundaries are very tightly drawn around the built-up area. You're right that Luton is certainly not unique in that respect. There are also other cases where, by luck of history, a place like Chester, for example, is surrounded by a lot of open space which is in the same council area. So, to a certain extent, there is a luck of the draw on this one, which is a bit unfortunate. And it is problematic in a situation where the land outside the council is in a different council.
Shouldn't there be some body making councils build?
We used to have one. The Labour government used to be very firm on producing numbers for councils. The coalition came in and said, we don't like this top-down rule-setting process, and we want councils to work it out among themselves. And I should say that the local government as a whole was very keen on that bottom-up approach, but it does require councils to make agreements between each other as to how to deal with the thorny problem of overspill.
What if councils don't cooperate together?
At the moment, all that can happen is that the council on either side of the border may run the risk of having its plan thrown out by the government, and it has to turn around and start again, which is quite a slow process. And in the Royal Town Planning Institute, where I work, we're trying to work out a situation where we might propose a more incentive-based system where it's worthwhile to cooperate because in return you get public investment from the government.
Rick, thank you very much for your time this morning. Rick Blythe, Head of Policy at the Royal Town Planning Institute.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
You. Got a text about the P-Man. Oh, actually, let's do the housing text first. Why does the lady need a 4-bedroom house when it's only her husband and one child? And why not consider moving to a cheaper area? Lisa in Leighton Buzzard. It's a question. Slightly more the text about the P-Man. Paul Scoyne. I don't know if I can read this, can I?
Don't ask me. Apparently, I'm not allowed to speak.
Well, you are not the best judge of what's broadcastable. Jan in Luton says, Paul Scoyne's... Jan in Luton has texted in. 81333. She started a text 3CR, so it's come to us. You might want to get near that microphone, Paul, because I'd like to get your response to this. Jan from Luton has texted in. Paul Scoynes.
Hi.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah. Paul Scoynes has got what my late mum would call a dark brown voice.
Swarthy. Is that
Does she mean like chocolate?
I really hope so. Yeah.
He has, in a way, hasn't he?
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I think it's meant to be one.
Richard Bryers. Oh, here we go. Rest of the show. what food does your voice sound like? Richard Bryce has got a voice like a crumbly old cake.
Yes.
Hasn't he? Yeah. Like a sort of ginger cake or something your nan would make for a Sunday tea time.
Yes.
You've got the voice, Catherine, of Wheatos. Or knickknacks.
Wow.
Knickknacks. You know, irritating, spicy.
You've got a voice like a cinder trapped under a grate.
What a fantastic image from the old Victorian era where you were born.
I was going to say your voice sounds a bit like a penguin biscuit.
I'll have that.
So crunchy, but soft on the middle.
Kelly sounds like pick and mix.
Well, thank you.
What does your voice sound like? Call me now. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Still got delays on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. Also heavy on the A1M southbound between junction 8 for Stevenage North and 7 for Stevenage South. Very slow still on the North Orbital Road as well at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And it's slow on a few parts of the A1. Firstly on the Great North Road at the Black Cat roundabout. Also queue southbound at Stirling Corner. That's causing problems back to Boreham Wood. And it's slow further down between Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. Slow on the A31 in North Watford, northbound at the Dome roundabout, and very slow on the A40 Western Avenue eastbound between the Swatcleys roundabout and the Hanger Lane gyratory. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, Chris! It's 8:16. It's Wednesday the 23rd of July. Boy, oh boy, are we stirring the pot here at BBC Three Counties Radio. We're winding up members of the team. These are your news headlines. Luton Borough Council says building expensive homes on land near Houghton Regis will do nothing to solve the town's housing crisis. Police divers have recovered the body of a 13-year-old boy who's drowned in the River Thames at Marlow. And EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours, following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Nick Coffer, across beds, hearts and bucks.
I'm at Bletchley Park today for a very, very important special occasion. For me, being out of the studio is about putting faces to names and bringing to life all that's brilliant about beds, hearts and bucks. If you know the high street here and you've never seen what goes on behind you, you really should, because it's like a whole new world.
Nick Coffer.
I think for my listeners, they get a chance to hear about places they may never have visited. In fact, they may never have heard of. And also, they hear the stories from the people that bring those places to life.
That is one of the mysteries of Abbots Langley Fire Brigade.
Nick Coffer, across beds, hearts and bucks, on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, HCO SoCal, or it's the logo on your top.
Yes.
Well, that's the lettering on your top. There's a picture of a flying bird.
I wouldn't normally wear this top to work, but I'm having to prepare for the Flea Man tomorrow.
You're getting a Flea Man. It's gone from powders and sprays to a Flea Man.
I've got an executive company coming round tomorrow.
Yeah.
With some very exclusive sprays.
Oh, gosh.
But I've been told I've got to literally wash everything.
Oh, no.
Everything.
Yeah.
Having just moved...
Yeah.
Everything's got to now be washed.
We had moths, and we had to wash everything.
Dreadful.
Or take things to the dry cleaners, or freeze clothes.
Yes, I was told to put things in the freezer as well.
Kills them off, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we did it. And hey, guess what, guys? We still had moths.
No, don't say that.
No, we did. We moved house in the end. Not because of that, but that was a...
New owners of Iain's house, you can sue him.
Good luck, guys. Good luck with that. Well, I think you look very street. Oh. Very urban.
That's not quite the look I was going for. That's the problem at work.
I see. Okay. Well, you're not dressed for work. It's like a mufti day.
Yes.
For you.
I think you should undo that top button.
Do you think so?
Yes, it's too high. Undo
It's funny you should say that, because I made the conscious effort as I was walking in this morning of doing it up.
No, undo it. Looks a bit silly. That's better.
Well, now I'm worried if you go too low on the buttons.
Oh, yes, it is. A little bit of cleavage. A little bit of moobage.
What do you reckon, potty mouth, Kath?
Collar's a bit Harry Hill for that, I think.
I like it.
But if it's done up higher,
Better.
you look like a vicar.
I don't
with
mind.
that black shirt on.
A trendy vicar, black shirt, jeans.
Shall we put a piece of white on you? Hang on a minute. Let's tear this, and I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
Put that there. Hang on a minute. You do look like a vicar.
Hang on a minute. Turn around.
Hang on. Let me get this right.
Hang on, right. hang on.
That's how we look. I can't. I ripped a good bit of paper.
Oh, what, you want to do it? Hang on a minute. Just bear with, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Two childish men mucking around.
Everyone likes to dress up as a vicar, don't they?
And you had the audacity to abuse my bit of paper?
I want to get it...
What are you doing? Oh, gosh, you're an old-school vicar.
Do what's on your show and I'll make myself a dog collar.
OK. Coming up on this morning's Big Phone In at 9, I'm asking, is racism still a problem where you live? As you've been discussing in this morning, Luton taxi drivers say they fear losing their livelihood. And it's making them too afraid to defend themselves if they're being racially or physically abused. It comes after a taxi driver had his window smashed with a hammer during a racially motivated attack on Hitchin Road on Sunday. Well, a couple of months ago on the JVS show, we heard how nearly 1 in 3 people admitted to being racially prejudiced. The British Attitude Survey claimed that 30% of the 2,000 people polled admitted that they were very, or perhaps just a little bit, racist. Well, from 9 this morning, I want us to continue the racism discussion. I'm going to be asking, is racism still a problem where you live? Your stories, your views on 08459 455 555, please.
Everyone's a little bit racist.
You reckon?
I think so, yes.
Just smile. I'm just taking a picture of Ian with his dog collar on so I can tweet it for you.
Does it look good? I could be a man of the cloth.
Oh, the Thornbirds.
I'm not old enough to get that reference.
You are.
I am.
Right, I'm going to tweet this now.
Brilliant.
I'll include you in on it.
Thank you very much.
On it,
we'll
so everyone can see what childish nonsense we've been mucking around with. Anyway, on the Big Phone In, is racism still a problem where you live? I would like your calls from 9, please.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The last sentence I said to Jonathan Vernon Smith as he left the studio was, I used to love the Bible when I was younger. I did. I used to be able to I used to be able to name in order. When I went to Wednesday Club, we'd have a game, right? We'd have 2 games. One was who could recite the titles, the chapters of the New Testament the quickest. It was always between me and Fiona King, whose brother was called...
No.
He's called Wayne. It's a true story. And then we'd have another game, right, where we'd stand and we'd have Bibles under our arms, right? It'd sound like this. So you hold the Bible, they go, sheathe your swords.
What?
Bible goes under the arm. Draw your swords. You hold the Bible up in the air.
Christian soldiers.
And then they would name a chapter and a verse in the Bible. There's all these 8-year-old kids going, and Jesus said, no!
I was into the Bible as well.
What was the question?
What?
And Jesus said no. What was the question?
No, he said low. Oh, flippin' heck, you sinners.
Oh, he was playing Play Your Cards Right.
Oh, for goodness.
I wanted to be a nun.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to be a vicar. Thornbirds.
Don't think there was any nuns in that.
Well,
there might have been.
Yes. We've got literally nothing for the next 35 minutes, have we?
It's not strictly true. You've got some texts.
Well, I don't know if I can read these. OK, let's have a little look about this. Oh, for goodness sake, this is not a thing. Right, Pete in Stopfold. Out of interest, what time was Cathgate yesterday? I want to listen back on the iPlayer so I know why she's being fired later. It's been taken out of the iPlayer.
It's been removed, hasn't it?
Lee in Letchworth. Ian, I'm starting a campaign to save Kath's job. Save our Kath or Sock. Come on, Kath, we're all behind you. Well, you will be behind her as she's walking down. Listen, no decision has been made and will not be made until her meeting at 10:30 today, OK?
It's looking good, though.
You're not doing... You did yourself no favours today by...
I didn't mean to do that one, and I didn't mean to do the one before. You do it meaning to. I'm being punished for your sins.
Kelly, you're gesturing wildly. What are you trying to say? Because I didn't get the sign language.
I wanted you to play the bleep.
Well, she's not sworn. She's not sworn yet.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to swear.
Oh, Cat.
Cat.
Stop it.
For goodness sakes. Right, but we've got no content for the next 37 minutes. Is that what we're saying? We need some phone calls, and boy, oh boy, we need some phone calls fast.
What are they going to phone about? Tell them the Specsavers story.
No one's called in about the Specsavers story.
I want to hear different people's voices and what they think they
Here's
sound
the thing. I don't get the thing, OK? They say that if you are blind in one eye, you have no depth perception. That's rubbish. If I cover one eye, I can still see that Kath's about 10 foot away, Kelly's about 13 foot away, and Danny is about 14 foot away. It's a boy Danny, it's a different Danny. I don't know who he is either. Anyway, I like him.
He's on your side.
I know he's on my side, so I like him. I don't know who he is. But I've got depth perception. I can perceive depth. So what is that...
Stop boasting.
Well, no, but what is that nonsense about, if you've only got one eye, you can't perceive depth? Yes. I think... Kath, I'm trying to get some bants going. I'm trying to ignite the bants fire.
Oh, it just sounded like you were boasting, so I was going to let you carry on about your 20/20 vision, supervision.
I've not got 20/20 vision.
40/40.
30/30 vision.
What does that mean?
It means I can see something 30 feet away.
Oh, good.
I can see the number 30 feet. I've got 30/30 vision. You don't hear about that very often because not many people have it.
I tell you what else you don't hear very often.
Yes.
A councillor saying, I'm really upset that people are upset. We're going to sort things out. We've had some reacts.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Tell that councillor you had on earlier about the roundabout to run in the general election. Regardless of party, I will vote for her, says Damon.
Ruth Vigor-Headley, the Cabinet Member for Transportation at Bucks County Council, a revelation in the world of politics.
Someone who was accountable and interested.
She came on. I'm all set to have a go at her about a dangerous roundabout. I'm ready.
Because we thought she was going to come on and say, well, there need to be so many accidents before we can act.
She said, I'm really sorry to hear that people are upset. I'll tell you what, I'll try and get down there this week and I'll bring a technician and we'll see what we can do.
Wind sails.
Just, hey, Mr. Duris, Luton Borough Council, all of those places. I really suggest you listen to that and learn, because once you've done that, I've got nowhere to go.
There doesn't need to be a row.
I'm sat there thinking, oh, blimey, I've got to fill the next 7 minutes. I've got nothing to say to her now. She was great. Any more feedback?
Yes, we have. Adam in St Albans. With regard to public figures who may not appear as helpful as Ruth, councils get lots of priorities. It isn't good practice to allow local radio to set those priorities, even when it thinks it's being helpful, says Adam.
Well, Adam, call up, please. I'd like to speak to you. Are you suggesting that when people complain that they think somewhere is dangerous, that we should ignore that?
By the way, we didn't set that priority. They've been trying the council and they got nowhere, so they went to the press, which is what people do, and which is what makes Britain great.
Oh, yeah, listen, your first port of call, if you've got a problem, you go to your local council, you go to your MP, and hopefully they will sort it out. Hopefully you'll get someone like Ruth who'll go, oh, OK, right, let's see what we can do. If they don't, then as a last resort, I would say, or one of the last resorts, you write a letter to your local paper or you phone up your local radio station and say, hey, listen, I've got this problem when we think lives might be at risk, or this isn't getting fixed, and we've got nowhere to go. Do you think you could help? And it's a shame that sometimes that's what it takes to get people to do stuff. So we're not setting the agenda, we're responding to the cries of our local people.
And just to be fair, sometimes that letter doesn't go to the right person, and so it ends up on the bottom of someone else's pile and never seen. So, sometimes a little mind jogger. It's not that we're setting priorities. Sometimes we do, but not always.
I taught my boys how to do this yesterday.
Can you teach me how to do it? I've never been able to.
You build up a sweat.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
My boys thought that was hilarious.
Yep.
About an hour later, I heard them getting told off by their mum for doing it!
Would you like to explain what it is that you're doing?
I think we all know what he was doing, don't we?
I think the listeners know. I think they've got a good idea. Right, last 30-odd minutes of the show. We've not got a lot to talk about. It's over to you, dear listener. You can come on and talk about anything you want. Anything you want. Anything. We ended up talking about the conspiracy theory surrounding the moon landings the other day. I've been receiving abuse on Twitter for not talking about Gaza. Don't quite know what a local BBC radio station is supposed to do to solve the problem. If you want to talk about that, you can. If you want to talk about what food your voice sounds like, you're more than welcome to. If you want to phone up and say, hey, well done to the Cabinet Member for Transportation at Bucks County Council for taking the challenge on the chin, you can do. If you want to phone up and say the show's rubbish, you're welcome to. You can't phone up and talk about the situation with Kath. That is off limits. It's the only time, for legal reasons, I'm going to impose an off-limits rule. Everything else
legal reasons? What are you talking about legal?
Oh, you'll see. Don't worry about it.
Have you heard something?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, you'll see the lady boss later on. So for legal reasons, I can't talk about it, not until the court case. So if you want to call about anything else, 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Denham, there are reports that Denham Avenue is currently blocked southbound. It's partially blocked at the A40 Oxford Road because of a breakdown. We'll have more on that as soon as we have it. Delays on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. It's heavy on the A1M southbound between junction 8 for Stevenage North and junction 7 for Stevenage South, and very slow again on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And it's slow on the A31 in North Watford, northbound at the Dome roundabout. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. Luton Borough Council has launched a legal challenge against plans to build thousands of homes north of Houghton Regis. It says Central Bedfordshire Council is building homes that aren't affordable when there's a dire lack of housing in the town. A 13-year-old boy has drowned in the River Thames at Marlow. Drivers recovered his body from the water near Gosmore Lane last night. EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours, following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel. The Luton-based airline says it will review its decision on a day-by-day basis. And the weather will be cloudy at first, but staying dry with plenty of sunshine. Top temperatures around 28 degrees Celsius. That's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. On to sport, and the Commonwealth Games gets underway today with the opening ceremony in Glasgow. Olympic legend Sir Chris Hoy, who has the velodrome venue named after him, says the Games are a great opportunity for young athletes.
Glasgow is going to be spectacular. You get to compete for your home country. It's often a chance for new athletes to come through. In track cycling, for example, at the Olympic Games you get one rider per event per nation. And at the Commonwealth Games you get three, so there's far more inclusion for some of the younger athletes.
In football, striker Paul Benson has signed a 2-year contract with Luton Town after being released by Swindon. Benson spent last season on loan at Kenilworth Road, scoring 18 goals in 38 games. Meanwhile, manager John Still has given Steve McNulty a new contract. Wycombe came from 2-0 down to draw with Chesham at the Meadow last night. MK Dons beat League 2 Dagenham and Redbridge by 1-0. There's some concern for captain Dean Lewington, who was taken off with a knee injury. He's due to celebrate his testimonial against Nottingham Forest on Sunday. And Stevenage beat Tunbridge Angels 3-1 in their latest pre-season friendly. The Queen's Horse Estimate has tested positive for morphine. Initial findings suggest the problem lies in contaminated feed. Here's our horse racing correspondent Cornelius Lysett.
Last week, racing's regulator, the British Horse Racing Authority, announced that 5 horses had tested positive for morphine, prohibited on race days, but declined to give any further information pending an investigation. It was Buckingham Palace which revealed that one of the 5 is the Queen's best horse of the moment, the Sir Michael Stoute-trained Estimate, winner of last year's Gold Cup at Royal Ascot and only beaten in a thrilling finish to the race this year.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 9 o'clock.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
You speak.
Nothing to say.
Say hello.
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing here.
Well, that's an invitation.
What do I say?
Phone me.
I don't want to phone you, Gavin, doing this.
No.
I'll phone you now.
Say, phone me, Iain Lee, on 08459 455 555.
I did that before the news.
They thought you were kidding.
I wasn't kidding. I got literally nothing.
What are you going to do then?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to go quiet and hope it goes away.
Have you got any music we could play, like hold music?
Let me have a little look. I might have something.
Have you got, like, Albatross by Fleetwood Mac?
Hang on a second.
Should I count Justin?
How?
Why? How? Why? How? Oh, that's us.
Call me now.
Oh, hang on, this'll do.
I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. And I don't like it very much. Oh no, he swallowed my toe, he swallowed my toe. Oh gee, he's up to my knee, he's up to my knee. Oh fiddle, he's reached my middle, he's reached my middle. Oh heck, he's up to my neck, he's up to my neck. Oh dread, he swallowed my...
Have a nice little sing-along there, Just.
Oh, boss, you know what? When I go out on the streets for you, when I take it to the streets, that's the one thing that people talk about more than anything else. Hey, you know that song about the boa constrictor? Who does that song? Well, I don't know.
That's Peter, Paul and Mary, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Legendary trio.
And our boy boss, Lawrence, put us in touch with that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a great song.
Nice one, Lance.
Lance. You know our boss is called Lawrence, yeah?
Well, he's Lance to me. Lance Cowhorn.
It's sad, isn't it, that of all the effort and work we put into constructing this beast of a show, that the thing they remember most is a kid's song about being eaten by a snake.
I know, it's crazy. The crazy world we live in.
Crazy, crazy world we live in. Now, Justin, listen, I'm not being rude. We ain't got nothing for the rest of the show.
Okay.
No, we have got nothing for the rest of the show.
What are you after, boss?
Some content.
Okay. Give me an avenue. Give me a road to drive down, baby. I've got myself in second gear. I want to take it to fifth by 9.
I'll tell you what we've got here. There's this thing in the mail. Can't sleep in the heat.
Ooh.
Put your sheets in the fridge.
What?
Yeah. Well, I quite like the sound of this.
No.
Really?
Have you been to that place in London called the Ice Bar?
No.
They allow you in there for about 20 minutes or so. Everything is made out of ice. You put this big gown on and you go in.
Yeah.
Everything's freezing cold. Why would you want to do that?
What, go to an ice bar?
Yeah, why would you want to do that?
Well, I don't know.
Why would you want to put your sheets in the fridge?
Because it's really, really hot at night.
No, absolute rubbish.
What do you mean? It's not rubbish, it's hot at night.
I'll tell you what you do.
Yeah.
You take off the duvet and you sleep naked.
Oh, I have been sleeping naked recently. And I really don't like... I don't like it.
Why?
I don't like parts of my body touching the sheets.
Wow, you're strange.
And I'm not strange, I think it's perfectly natural.
Oh, I know the problem here. You've got the wrong sheets. You need soft sheets.
I've got soft sheets.
No, obviously not soft enough.
Oh.
Because when you get the really nice soft ones, your body parts against that sheet will feel refreshed.
Don't eat too late. Having a big meal just before you turn in is one of the worst things you can do. I always eat just before I go to bed, because I go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Is this seriously in a national newspaper?
Yeah.
Advice on how to sleep.
And it's on a BBC radio station now.
Wow, this is incredible. OK, so you want top tips before 9 on how people are sleeping during the heat?
Yes, please, Dealey.
OK, boss.
Cheers, fella.
Cheers, boss.
Love you. Colin's in Dunstable. Big up yourself, Col.
Morning.
Morning, Colin.
Be alert.
The world needs more alerts.
Oh. Right.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I thought I was going to get you with that one.
Well, that's from that book of graffiti by Colin somebody, wasn't it?
I don't know.
There was a book of graffiti by... someone will tell me. 08459 455 555. Who done that book of graffiti? I'm sure it was Colin somebody. And one of the only one I remember was Stay Alert, the world needs more alerts. And I grew up for years thinking that alert, that there was such a thing called alert. You could get alerts. But there isn't.
No.
So it doesn't make any sense. So there's me as a 6-year-old reading that book of graffiti and thinking it was an hilarious joke, when actually it wasn't. It was nonsense.
Never mind.
Is that it?
Well, don't know.
Do you want to go through the front pages with me, Colin?
Front pages of what?
What do you think?
Don't know.
The newspapers?
Well, I suppose it could be.
Right, OK. Shall we go through them? Let's start with the Daily Mail. Okay?
Come on in.
Right. Clamour grows for Tory party to return the huge donations it's been given by oligarchs and Putin cronies. Hand back the rubles, Dave.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. I don't like politics.
OK. What about the Queen's horse being a junkie?
Queen's horse being a junkie?
Yeah, the Queen's horse high on morphine.
Sorry, don't get that one.
Well, no, it's not a joke, mate. The Queen's horse has been tested and found positive for being on drugs.
Oh, has it? I don't read the papers, you see.
No, but you... Well, Lee just did it on the news 8 minutes ago.
I was putting the bin bags out.
And I'm telling you now, all it needs is an instant reaction.
Pass.
Daily Express. Migrant family on £55,000 a year benefits. Couple with 15 children want bigger home.
Shouldn't be allowed.
No, hang on. It should be allowed. They should be given a bigger home. They've got 15 kids.
Nah.
Let's have a little look. The scandal of Soft Touch Britain has been exposed by a migrant family of 17 living in a 3-bedroom house. The supersized Toma family from Romania was so desperate for a new life, they lied so their brood could live together in one of the worst cases of overcrowding ever seen. You want 17 kids, 15 kids, to be crowded into a 3-bedroom house?
Oh, no.
So we should give them a bigger house?
No, I might pass on that one.
Which we can't keep passing on them.
I can.
Oh, flipping it. Steve's in St Albans. Morning, Steve.
Morning, mate.
What have you got for us?
Well, I was wondering if Catherine goes into that douche, she could say she's got Tourette's, couldn't she?
What, if she goes into the meeting with the boss?
Yeah.
Well, but we know that she hasn't, Steve. We know she's just got a potty mouth and she's got bad control.
Well, she should be working with me then. Me and her would be a good pair together.
Why? What do you work in? A swearatorium?
It could be that. Many other things, yeah. But, when I'm with the animals and that, I'll usually say a few words, words, right, you know.
Do you swear at animals?
Oh, when the buggers stand on you or something like that, yeah.
Does that make you feel like a big man?
No, it relieves the pain a bit.
Get this, Steve. I had a go at a fella for swearing in front of kids yesterday, and he got really nasty.
Did you get punched in the nose?
He didn't punch me in the nose. If I'd have pushed it, he told me to get the F away.
Yeah.
And let's just say, I did. I wasn't going to stick around for any heroics.
What's that thing running up the middle of your back? Is it yellow?
Hey, I went up to him in the first place. He's some dead common, horrible bloke with a shaved head, tattoos, earrings, swearing in front of kids. I went up to him and said, "Oh, excuse me, mister." Didn't say mister, I'm not 9 from the Victorian era. I'm not in Oliver. I went, "Oi, mate, what's your language? There are kids here." And he swore at me.
Oh, that's unusual. Here, and another thing, have you thought that Catherine could be getting your job?
Very, very unlikely, Steve, after the meeting I had with the lady boss yesterday. Very unlikely.
Oh, so it means then that you've stirred it right up for her then?
Mate, listen, I've just reported the truth.
I could report the truth sometimes, but I can bend it one way or the other, couldn't I?
Yeah, exactly, Steve. Just reporting the truth. That's all we do here on BBC Three Counties Radio. Lena on Twitter says, guys, can you tell me where I can get some of that morphine-laced feed from, please? I'm asking for a friend. The picture of me wearing a dog collar is up on Twitter, if you want to have a little look at that. Connor's in the New Forest. Morning, Connor.
Hello.
Hello, Connor. What you got?
I just wanted to talk about how on earth did morphine get into water? Like, how does it get contaminated? How did they get mixed up?
Well, this is that the Queen's Ascot Gold Cup winning horse fails the drug test. We go to page 9.
Yeah.
One of the Queen's prize racehorses has tested positive for a banned drug. Estimate. What a stupid name for a horse. Why do we give horses stupid names like that?
I have no idea. There's so many around here, and they just charge into our car, and one stole one of our towels last night.
A horse? Sorry?
A horse stole one of our towels last night.
Unbelievable.
In the New Forest.
Unbelievable.
They crashed through the fence.
Oh, are these wild ponies?
Yeah.
What's that all about? Because I've been to the New Forest, and there are ponies literally just wandering all over the place.
Well, I was talking to a taxi driver yesterday because we got stranded in a town because our bus drove past us.
Oh, yeah.
Which was quite annoying. But, we were talking to the taxi driver, and he said that they're owned. They are privately owned, but basically the owners just let them roam around the forest, and then at the end of the year they sell them on to someone else who just does exactly the same thing.
Hang on a minute. So the wild ponies of the New Forest are owned. Someone owns them for a year and then sells them a year later?
Yep.
Are you allowed to eat them?
No. Well, I don't know really, but
yeah.
I haven't seen it on the menu.
Would you ever eat a horse?
Well, we probably have.
Hey, do you remember the horse meat scandal? I wonder how many people got arrested for that, and then charged. Zero. Nothing was ever done about that. Oh, Ferrari. No. Oh, it comes from Poland. Oh, no, it comes from Yorkshire. Oh, no, it comes from Devon. Oh, no, it comes from Romania. And then we've just forgotten about it.
Yeah, I know.
I had my first ever pork pie yesterday, Connor.
Okay.
It was quite nice. It was nice. It was given to me by Mike Reed of Banning Relax fame. I quite enjoyed it.
Oh, wow.
I'm feeling, because I'm trying to find out if there's any explanation for how this this horse was infected. See,
I can't. Well, did the headline say that it's banned on race day and that it's not banned on other days?
I'm so glad you picked up on that, because I heard that as well. Morphine is banned on race days. So does that mean at the weekend then the horse can go and have a little morphine party, chill out for a bit, and relax?
Yeah. Well, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's okay on other days. It's just not on this.
It certainly does. Connor, why the New Forest is miles away? Why on earth are you listening to this rubbish? Why aren't you listening to, I don't know, New Forest FM?
Well, basically, I'm from High Wycombe.
Oh yeah. Sorry to hear
So
that.
I listen to you every morning.
Yeah.
And then I come here and I have to get up before 8 every morning. So all my friends are still sleeping, but I thought I'd listen to you in the sun.
Hey, Connor, listen. You sound like a young man. Am I right?
Yes, I'm 16.
Yeah, Connor, in the words of your generation, wagwan, big up yourself and maximum respect.
Yeah.
Connor, thank you very much indeed. I still got it.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Denham, there are reports that the Denham Avenue southbound is partially blocked at the A40 Oxford Road because of a breakdown. More on that when we have it. Delays on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. It's heavy on the A1M southbound between junction 8 for Stevenage North and 7 for Stevenage South. Very slow again on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And it's slow on a few parts of the A1. Firstly on the Great North Road at the Black Cat roundabout. Also queuing southbound at Stirling Corner, which is causing problems back to Boreham Wood, and slow further down between the Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. It's slow on the A31 in North Watford, northbound at the Dome roundabout. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. 8:46, Wednesday the 23rd of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council says building expensive homes on land near Houghton Regis will do nothing to solve the town's housing crisis. Police divers have recovered the body of a 13-year-old boy who's drowned in the River Thames at Marlow. And EasyJet has suspended all flights to Tel Aviv for the next 24 hours following the decision by airlines in America not to fly to Israel. 08459 455 555. It's open season. Literally, almost anything is open for debate, apart from the situation involving Kath's possible suspension and the legal case that may or may not be as a result of that. But anything apart from that is up for grabs. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a beautiful start across most places. There is still a bit of cloud lingering around for some, but it is gradually starting to lift. It's kind of restricted now to parts of North Buckinghamshire and Bedfordshire, but it is gradually going. It's melting away. We're getting the blue sky elsewhere, and that's going to be the story of the day. The temperature outside at the moment ranging between 16 and 18 Celsius already. By the end of the afternoon, we're likely to see the temperature up at 28 Celsius. That's 82 degrees in Fahrenheit. Perhaps a little bit of light relief in the form of a gentle easterly breeze today, which could just make things feel a little more comfortable. Overnight, it's not bad either. A nice end to the day, sunshine, and it'll feel warm. Once the sunset's just gone 9, we'll get some clear spells, but perhaps a little bit of cloud moving in through the middle part of the night. But another warm and muggy one, minimum temperature 15 Celsius, but towns and cities likely to be a few degrees warmer. So a warm, dry start tomorrow, similar start actually. You could get a bit of cloud at first, but it will melt away, and temperatures similar to today's at 28 Celsius. And that's your
every weekday morning.
My show's called The JVS Show, 9 o'clock in the morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
I deal with the consumer problems that affect people all over Beds, Herts and Bucks.
And I said, well, I didn't come all this way to be looking at a broken down hotel.
Those companies, those councils, those organisations that are letting people down.
This guy turned around and said to me that they're not prepared to pay me, and I said, so you're forcing me to take action. And he said, good luck, and put the phone down on me.
I get my teeth into them.
Oh, Jonathan, I'll start crying soon. We don't know what to do.
Deal with them and hopefully get results for you, the consumers.
And it got so convoluted, I thought there's only one person who can sort this out.
The JVS Show on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I forgot to ask Jonathan, and maybe he can let me know. I am thoroughly enjoying his pursuance of the nightclub owner. Are you doing anything on that today? Not today. OK. I was enjoying it so much that yesterday I drove completely out of range and I was listening in really bad quality on AM. And then I got to where I was going and I went to the BBC iPlayer to listen to it on my telephone as I was enjoying it so much. Excellent. Nice. It's a cracking story. Not doing it today. It's a cracking story, though, and handled superbly. Alan's emailed in. Iain, I listened to your show from Wiltshire. Thanks for that, Alan. Excellent stuff. Why? It's weird, isn't it? You've got your own local radio stations. I know most of them are rubbish, but still, it seems odd. OK, we've got some texts here. I'm going to read these out. Leslie in Watford says, Kath, stop rising to his bait. You have us behind you. You spelt have wrong. Online petitions, protests outside the office. Just keep reminding him of what he said to Roger Daltrey. I was very respectful to Roger Daltrey of The Who. Mark in Bedford, I appreciate the lady saying she was going to investigate the roundabout, but she's not actually done anything yet. Let's wait before we get too excited. Well, the fact that she even said she was going to do something is more than we normally get. Free Kath, free Kath, free Kath. Well, that's the rumour.
Wow.
Sorry?
I'm actually really worried, and you're making remarks about my price.
Listen, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because it's out of your hands. It's in, I was going to say God's hands. It's not. It's in the hands of the bosses here. It's not. It's in the hands of the regionals.
Well,
and it's fine.
I feel like I'm going to get done for things that you've done.
Mate, the tapes speak for itself.
I know, but what about all the tapes I've got on you?
Fine. I'm encouraged to be a maverick. I go in, I apologise, and I don't do it again. It's easier for me to apologise than you because I'm a celebrity. Now, all I'm suggesting is you got to eat some humble pie, baby. But even that humble pie is going to taste so bitter on your sweet, sweet tongue. Ain't going to be enough to get you out of this restaurant.
You're going to be so sorry. If I'm not here tomorrow, you'll know that this is serious because I'm quite worried.
Oh, mate, it'll be fine. You go in there and you say sorry and you apologise and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. These things, they like to make a lot of puff and bluster around this. I mean, what you've done, and with today's thing as well, it makes it even worse.
What?
And it was yesterday was outrageous. Yesterday was outrageous. Fair play. And I've worked on a station where someone got sacked immediately. They were taken off air immediately for doing something not quite as bad as that.
Yeah, but they don't have to fill in all the forms on commercial, do they?
No, exactly. Commercial radio is a different thing. Boom, you're out. Seriously, go in. I've been winding you up. It was out of order what you did. And
Didn't mean to, though. Everyone makes mistakes, don't they?
There is a chance that it might go legal. So you need to go in there. You need to go in there today. You need to do what Ruth did. Hands up, baby, hands up. Give me your heart. Give me your heart. Give me. Oh, your love. Oh, your love. Oh, your love. Not taking it seriously in the slightest, am I?
Well, Kath, when you go in, just keep calm. Yeah. Don't swear.
I won't swear. I don't do it on purpose.
You say that, but you've got the pottiest... All right, OK, so listen.
No, don't.
No, just
don't, please, because...
OK, so...
No, because it's 7 minutes to 9, please.
So I'm the boss. You walk into my office, what's the first thing you say? Well, that's it, you're out. You're out if that happens. Jenny's on the line. Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning.
We're having a bit of fun. I'm sure it will be all right. I'm sure it'll be fine. She just needs to go in, apologise, eat humble pie, and I'm sure the legal action can be stopped before it gets too far.
Yeah.
Jenny, what you got for us?
Well, I was listening to you talking about your, what was it, pork pie you had yesterday?
Mike Reed gave me my first ever pork pie.
Yes, because you're eating meat again.
Oh, I'm loving the meat.
Well, I tell you what, it made me think straight away. It's a few years ago now, I ate the most fantastic sausage roll made of ostrich meat.
What?
Listen to me, Ian.
Oh, baby, I'm listening.
It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It was, it was so good that I've never been able to eat an ordinary sausage roll since because it just can't compare.
I'm salivating.
I'll tell you what, you would be.
Yeah.
It was like beef. Have you had beef yet?
I've had beef, yeah.
It was like the best.
I have beef every morning.
The best, leanest, loveliest, beefiest beef ever.
The beefiest beef ever?
Yes.
Oh,
it was
man.
absolutely fantastic.
Jenny, now I will eat anything.
Oh.
Would you?
No.
Horse. Would you eat horse?
Well, I probably have.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
if you're in a restaurant and horse is on the menu, would you eat horse?
Well, if I knew that anything that tastes nice, yeah, why not?
Dog.
If it tasted nice.
Right, so hang on, you'd eat anything then, cat?
Yeah, if it tasted nice.
Rabbit?
Yes. Well, I used to eat rabbit anyway.
Snake?
Yeah, probably.
What about if it tasted nice?
Yeah, probably.
You're not so convinced by the snake.
No, I'm a bit funny.
Well, it wouldn't be it would be a dead snake. Could I convince you to eat some snake?
If a little tiny bit.
You want a little bit of snake?
A little tiny bit, just a taste.
Little taste of snake.
But then if I liked it, I would eat it again.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd eat a snail, though, Ian.
Oh, I've had snails.
Oh, you haven't, have
me,
you?
Me and my boy, when we went to France, he was 4-year-old, was well excited, and he was getting them all out, and he had more than me.
Oh.
They do taste like bogies. They have that texture. Do you know what I mean? That's that kind of texture.
Oh.
And all you can taste really is garlic because they're smothered in garlic, but they're nice.
Oh no, I wouldn't eat that then. I don't like the idea of it feeling like a bogey.
Jenny, thank you very much indeed. Justin.
Morning, boss.
Would you eat a dead snake roll?
No, of course I wouldn't.
Why?
Do you know what? I'm going to make a revelation right now.
Yeah?
I hate snakes. I'm scared of them so much. I saw a snake once in my life, face to face, and I probably ran as fast as Linford Christie. In his heyday. In his heyday, may I just add.
What's wrong with snakes?
They're disgusting, horrible creatures. What's the point in a snake? You give me one good point for the existence of snakes on our planet. You can't.
I can.
Go on.
They corrupted mankind.
Horrible things. And why would you keep one as a pet? Why would you do that? Is there something wrong with people out there? Yes, I'll answer that question.
Well, that's Justin with his own little self-contained package there. We've been asking you to go out and find out people's tips for keeping cool at night. What you got?
Well, I have to say that these are not great, but you've given me 10 minutes notice. I've been asking people for their top tips on how to sleep during the heat. Ian, here's what people had to say. George, the big question of the day, how do you sleep in the heat?
I can't. I can only sleep unless I've got a drink down me.
Got a couple of men here tanned up in their shorts this morning. Sir, how do you sleep in the heat? Ian wants to know.
Take your clothes off.
Simple as that?
Simple as that.
That's what I said. I mean, you can't go wrong there, can you?
Lovely and cool.
OK, what about yourself?
Same, really. I do open all the windows with no clothes on. We don't sleep together. We are brothers, but we don't sleep together, yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right,
hey, Michael. Lovely bag there. Michael, how do you sleep in the heat, sir?
Oh, I keep my window open.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Really? What about this idea of putting your bed sheets in the fridge? Would you try that?
No, I don't think very hygienic.
You seem like a very hygienic man.
I do my best.
Yeah. Change your underpants once a day?
Of course.
You could have these tips. They've got a whole page out of this.
I know, it's incredible.
Have a cool shower.
Yeah.
Keep your pyjamas on. According to Dr. Neil Stanley, an independent sleep expert, it's actually better to wear pyjamas. The pyjama fabric draws sweat away from your body and will make you feel cooler.
I mean, we had some other ones. People saying use a fan, but all that does is circulate the hot air. Somebody else said air conditioning. Yeah, it's great if you can afford air conditioning. That, of course, I'm sure will be the best thing to have. But seriously, Ian, the best thing is just to sleep naked, my friend. Try it this evening with me, and tomorrow you're going to work and you'll feel all refreshed.
Try it with you?
Yeah, listen, I'm doing it for the programme.
You want me to come and
come over this evening?
Top and tail?
Come over this evening, sleep naked, I promise you. Tomorrow, you will feel like a different man.
Why? What are you going to do?
Well, not a lot, but I'm just saying, if you sleep naked, try it, and I'll prove you right. Have I said something? Iain? Boss?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Denham, there are reports that the Denham Avenue is blocked partially or southbound at the A40 Oxford Road because of a breakdown. And in Brogborough, on the A421, there are reports that that's partially blocked at the M1 junction 13 for Bedford on the roundabout. Delays on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. And it's still slow on the North Orbital Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. I'm Chris Golds, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. Thank you to all of your calls. JVS is up next. Should be a cracking show. I'll be back tomorrow with Kelly and Justin. Maybe Kath.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone In, is racism still a problem?